playing that can flex to so many different heroes.
So our first map in this best of 7. We ended on King's Row. We're starting it on King's Row here for Runaway versus MVP Space. You know, just kind of a staple map. Not too sure whose pick this was, but this is a map that, you know, Genjis do like to shine on, but we can also see the Pharah coming out on the side of MVP Space. Maybe Cox runs it for Runaway.
And we got to see the prevalence of blades in the last match, right?
Yeah.
We got to see how important they can be and how Leaf holding on to them can obviously hurt the team a little bit. But I think something I've noticed within the side of Runaway is that Stitch plays so well with Hoxel and his blade, because I feel like the target calling they're doing, like every time I see Hoxel go with the blade, Stitch is always there to help get the kill. Because obviously the power of the blade is the dash resets you get, because you get to just dash back around and keep picking up kills over and over again. And whenever Hoxel gets like booped away by Lucio back then, Stitch was always there to help clean up the kill on the target he was attacking, so he can give him a reset to get him back in the fight.
Yeah, I was talking to Kaiser just earlier today, and he was, you know, describing the shot calling on the side of Runaway, and there's no real like macro caller. Everyone just kind of keeps track of their individual matchup, right? Lucio for Lucio, Tracer for Tracer, Genji for Genji for ultimates, and they keep track that way. There's no one main shot caller. Everyone contributes on the side of Runaway, which really does contribute because they have a very chaotic style with their dive.
We'll see what's going to work for them. As on the attack, it's going to be MVP Space, and one fact, initially going to be starting off, oh my lord. Started off in the Widowmaker, but look on the side of Runaway. Hoxel on Torbjorn, Stitch on Junkrat, and Kaiser going to be on Orisa with Cox on McCree. So they have what, triple quad DPS if you want to count Diva here, solo healer. How is MVP Space going to break this?
This is great. They have everything to deal with the side of MVP. Tracer has to deal with, well, like that, the flashbang headshot coming out from Cox, and also Cox can, you know, play that anti-air up against Yaki, who hasn't been able to do much at all on this Pharah. It's already been 40 seconds. He's only got 20% towards his ultimate. That res comes out, brings one back into this.
Fuse got the res, but he put himself in a really bad position where maybe Cox was able to take advantage of that. Yaki to break the shield is going to take pretty much every rocket he has, and even then, there's going to be rockets eaten by the defense matrix and another shield being put down by Orisa. Just have to kind of get on the point and rotate around them as they're going to dive in. The Bower Grenade has connected onto Kaiser. The backup will be there. They'll get the initial kill onto him and onto Stitch.
Hoxel still alive. They've got the res. Kaiser is brought back into this. They can Molten Core if they want to, but Cox playing bodyguard here for that. Now the Deadeye does come out. It connects onto one fact, but still 2 kills have gone over. They're fighting back into this as Hoxel has committed with that Molten Core as he ultimately does fall. Oh,
Cox gets the headshot directly onto Fuse, doesn't finish off the kill, but does force them back and trying to buy some time. Most importantly, him and Stitch basically all alone on the point with Bumper there to go for the heals. Who's going to have Valkyrie in just a second. Like, can they get back in? Can they maintain this? The turret's going to be finished off by Yaki.
Yeah, they have the nano boost onto Kuki that just dissipated here, but Janu, he's getting pocketed now by that Mercy. They don't have a second healer quite yet. Hoxel is getting back on this Genji here as they just lose Bumper, so they're now all out of sustain or Runaway, and they're getting cleaned up by MVP.
Hoxel switching to Genji. I think they realize they're going to lose this fight. Maybe start working towards these ultimates. The point hasn't been captured just yet, though. It's still only a third of the way through as John is zoning away with the self-destruct. The barrage of Yaki going to come in and should be able to lock down control the first point. And now Runaway switching Kaiser over to Reinhardt.
There we
Hoxel
go.
onto Zarya, so they're going to be running a triple tank here in the Streets phase.
Fans have been waiting for this moment for so many months now. Kaiser now back on to the Reinhardt that he's so well known for as Hoxel. They're going to be running a triple tank composition with Hoxel picking up the Zarya.
It's been so long since I've heard the Eye of the Kaiser.
Yeah.
We might be able to see it again here, but to be fair, MVP Space, you do have a pulse bomb on one factor with no energy for Hoxel. There's no real chance he's going to be able to kill one fact immediately. Pulse bomb has gone down out of him. Looks like it did not connect. And they're going to also have a self-destruct and a Valkyrie, most importantly. So support-wise, MVP Space is going to be a little bit ahead of Runaway, quite a bit ahead.
Self-destruct coming out. It might actually catch on to Cox, but no, he makes it over the health pack to keep himself safe as Yaki comes in over the top. He doesn't have a barrage, but he's able to conk the tanks back in. That allows Kaiser to actually get the swing onto one fact, forcing out the rest from Fuse.
The thing is, they have nothing to deal with Pharah on the air, so they have to win the ground battle extremely quickly. Kaiser still swimming away, gets the better of one fact again, but he's being pushed into the middle of this battlefield. And Stitch will stick the pulse bomb. Oh, it looks like he did stick it, but the Wraith form had come in to actually mitigate that one. Kuki. So they're running solo tank, triple DPS, where Runaway are running triple tank, And the Reaper's going to be the big turning point. Kuki at 60% on his Death Blossom paired with Yaki in the air. I don't think Runaway have a comp to necessarily deal with this.
This is what we've seen a lot coming out during APAC group stages, with Kuki going on to that third DPS for them. A lot of teams actually doing that. We saw Trill in our last series swap off himself, sometimes onto third DPS, but it's Yaki, once again, like you had mentioned, no one to deal with him in the sky. His Transcendence is used by Cox.
I think as the Transcendence was forced out of Yaki, who hit him with the damage hand rocket, and immediately had to use it to force the fight and to try to stay alive here. Bumper gets a res on the Stitch, but the Graviton Surge and the Earth Shattered, everything piling in on top of this. Runaway will hold, but they had to use a lot of ultimates to make that happen.
They did use a lot of ultimates, but MVP on the opposite end, really, they're only building up towards that self-destruct and the Valkyrie form. That's not exactly the ultimates you want for an offensive push.
So Yaki switching to Genji. One fact over to Tracer. So trying to go for a heavy dive composition as Cox is already able to take Yaki down. I think he actually went into the window and immediately got sniped by a right click out of Cox.
That's what happens when you put a DPS player onto something like a Zenyatta or an Ana. They've got the aim, it's there, and it's deadly now. Cox building his way up towards the Transcendence as the dive comes out. He lands one more orb there, and with Kuki just going too far, they're going to double down, pushing forward with that Transcendence. Res comes out, but Fuse puts himself into the back line in the middle of all of Runaway, and it's a two-man pulse, self-destruct. Janu answers right back in kind, and it's going to be Runaway battling back into this.
The reinforcements going to be here a little bit quicker for MVP space. They've lost more men in the fight, and Runaway will hold yet again here. Stitch on the McCree getting close to a Deadeye. Bumper getting close to a Valkyrie. Undine is going to have his Transcendence in this fight. I don't know if the Trance is going to be enough to stop pretty much the instant kill potential out of a McCree.
Yeah,
as long as he gets the Deadeye off, like that's just dead people no matter what.
The Deadeye is there. You can damage boost that up even to catch teams off guard. Yaki on this Genji tries to get into the back line with the dive, but he instantly has to deflect and back away. The D-Mech is out, and there it is. The Deadeye connects. Yaki is down. Transcendence is being used now. It's a 4v5 fight in favor of Runaway as Huxel is just running wild, running rampant with the Zarya. Picks up another kill onto Bianca.
I do love how much Kaiser's swinging here with the Reinhardt. It's allowing him a lot of uncertainty for the side of MVP space. He's been able to kill one fact multiple times. Like Reinhardt v Tracer, ideally you shouldn't really be able to win that fight as a Reinhardt, but he's been able to keep the pressure on him, and most importantly, he has another Earth Shatter. And the threat of an Earth Shatter of Reinhardt when you have nothing to guarantee stop it, like to get lucky with a Winston shield or a bubble is what you're going to have to commit to. And Kaiser can pretty much shut down this next attack with just a jump around Earth Shatter around the corner.
This is coming down to the wire for MVP. There's 12 seconds left. Stitch already starting it off. He swapped off onto that McCree, getting the kill onto one back. Huxel with the alternative fire. Here's the blade coming out. But Yaki only able to kill onto Stitch here. They do have the res for Bumper. Is he going to bring back Cox?
Oh, no!
Huge Graviton with the self-destruct. The bigger bang coming in from Janu, picking up that triple. And that will be Runaway, putting a stop to the offense of MVP as soon as they clean up one fact.
Unnecessary Earth Shatter, but was totally necessary to put the hammer, or to take the hammer to the nail to lock down this game against MVP space. I mean, you saw, right? Cox died already. They lost like 2 people, and then they're that's Huxley kind of mad about the Earth Shatter with the Graviton. But kind of, I don't know, they lost 2 people, but they kept their composure. They weren't worried about those 2 people falling, and they knew they had the ultimates to back this up. An MVP space, a team with more practice coming into this, speechless practically.
The thing is, we were saying that, you know, maybe Runaway just need to play their own style, but we got to see so much coming out from them. Huxel running the Torbjorn on point A, Stitch not playing the Tracer that we know him for. He actually went on to that McCree and he showed that, well, he's got the deadly accuracy also with that. So now this squad really just showing their worth. And yeah,
I feel like, I don't know, Yaki's Pharah like was still really good.
It was.
The problem was he wasn't like getting enough damage done. Like that's like kind of the bane as Pharah. Yeah, you can do a lot of damage and you get a lot of freedom, but he doesn't have enough damage to pressure them back, to keep them on their back toes. Because Runaway, they realized, all right, well, he's going to keep hitting us. Let's just engage on their ground army. And as long as they beat that ground battle, they didn't have to worry about the air.
Yeah, and especially running that triple tank. It's hard to burst down the triple tank as a Pharah, as they're continually getting healed up. But yeah, you also have the damage mitigation, right, coming out from the Diva along with the Zarya there. So when the defense matrix is down, you can use that projected barrier, just mitigate everything. So now...
Sorry, that was Janu that was upset. about the Earth Shatter there.
Was that Janu?
Yeah, that was Janu. I believe it was Janu.
I'm pretty sure that was Haksal.
Anyways, they were upset because they wanted all the kills at the end there.
Yeah.
And now Runaway are going to be on the attack. Looks like we're going to see the comp we've known them to be on. So Kaiser's going to be playing the Winston instead of Tizzy. MVP Space have to somehow, well, run the dive better than them. Run the dive better than the team who's proven to be one of the best teams at this composition.
Yeah, and they're not running a Mercy this time. It's going to be Bumper on that Lucio. They'll have that speed advantage. They can engage upon MVP as Yaki just playing Lurk with this Genji as he spots out the supports in the hotel. Really dash in. They do have the Orb of Discord, but the instant flick takes out Cox. Bumper gets focused down next, and MVP just go ahead and deflect this attack as Yaki comes in with a dash resets.
So MVP Space, yeah. Yaki not even normally their Genji player. It's usually Otto, the one who's sitting on the sidelines at the moment, and One Fact is the guy that usually gets subbed out in a strong game. I think Yaki, very solid DPS player.
Yeah.
He's shown he can play so many different things to such a high level. But they have to be able to do it again and again. And they need to stall for a lot of time as the third's already been taken in Haksal.
That's the deadly accuracy of Haksal. He's one of those Genjis that can farm up Blade quickly and is highly impactful with almost every single Blade. He's sitting at 73% now, going toe-to-toe with Yaki, but it's Runaway. Already secured one tick on the point.
Stitch looking for a pulse bomb here, 92% and counting. He's gonna catch out Kuki, trying to run away. Pulse bomb, I don't believe, landed, but he gets a DC onto Bianca, most importantly.
And now Haksal with the Blade out. He's looking for the next reset. Drop down low, 7 HP. He will ultimately fall, but still, they don't have many bodies on the point right now. Do MVP as they try to fight back into this. They're gonna force back Runaway.
Well, One Fact gonna get caught up by Stitch, who's flanked around behind them. Their own Transcendence gonna be coming out to make sure they're healthy enough to continue to push forward. Stitch almost farming another pulse bomb in this fight. And if you're gonna die, Undine, you need to do it now. Undine, sorry. And he will fall, and they won't have a chance to defend at this archway since they died a little staggered.
Yeah, take a look. They didn't really push that payload that far at all. 74.86 meters now. They have a great ultimate advantage on the side of Runaway. Bumper, he's got his sound barrier. We've got the self-destruct. We saw Janu pick up, I want to say, about 6 or 7 kills on the defense there with it. Stitch is going to have another pulse bomb. This is his third within the last minute and a half.
And with how little they have to push, one Blade can do it.
Yeah.
On such a prolific player like Haksal is. But MVP Space have a lot of ultimates to use, and if Yaki get the engagement in, knowing that Cox has no Transcendence, which he's going to do now, they could put up a good hold.
Blade comes out, but it's answered with the sound barrier. Yaki getting forced down. There's the pulse bomb with the D-Mech, and now he's on the hunt is Stitch for that Winston. It's going to be Kaiser that comes in, takes him out now, and they're super extended are the side of MVP. They're getting cleaned up by the members of Runaway. They might have just done it. They might have just secured King's Row.
I think they might have. That definitely should, as Fuse is going to be running away, but the payload is still pushing forward. And there you have it, Runaway. Off to a strong start here. Having to take up the first map in the series. And I don't know, Jamerson, I want to have like a little conversation while we have some time here about this. The fact that we're not seeing Runaway use Mercy on attack there, I think there's a part of it that it's because they're not comfortable enough with Mercy, but a part of it's also that they know they're just so good on that composition, why not continue to run it? I wonder if teams, with only being like, a week and a half in now, maybe 2, have really unlocked the full potential of Mercy in the new meta. I feel like Runaway are just going to stick to like what they know for the most part. And I don't think that's a sign that they don't think Mercy's that strong, it's just because they're still learning her.
It's the geography, honestly, I want to say, of King's Row there. On the offense, we've always seen that on King's Row that you can just go ahead and even run a solo support in Lucio and just go with like a triple tank, double DPS. You don't need that instant res because you can reinforce so quickly because the run back distance is so short for the offense. So that's fine. They did run the Mercy on the defense.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's just King's Row specific where you really can just opt out of the Mercy.
Well, we'll see as we do progress on further. Remember, it's a best of 7. We're not done just yet. And after this break, we'll see map 2 kicks off.
去的几年间，游戏市场发展迅猛，游戏已成为互联网娱乐应用的典型代表。京东将以整合者、升级者的角色，致力于游戏行业的繁荣与突破。未来，京东将与合作伙伴一道，共同掀开崭新的玩家时代。
我们是希望，
我们是荣耀，
我们是勇气，
我们是正义，
我们是怜悯，我们是决心，
我们是和谐，
我们是守望先锋。
Welcome back to the APAC premiere and our MVP for the first map on King's Row between Runaway and MVP Space. It's going to be Haksal, Mr. Genji himself.
So if you guys don't know who that third icon is, the hero icon is on next to his name, it's actually Torbjorn.
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. You never really see it there, right? Since only gets an MVP. It wasn't like super effective, but it shows that Runaway have tried some new things, right?
Yeah.
They tried to use the flexibility they have within their team alone to come up with some flexible compositions again. Better Showers probably not needed out of Kaiser, but I'm never gonna tell that man that. I'm gonna let him do what he wants.
I mean,
he's the Emperor for God's sake.
It helped, I would say. That's Haksal there. Because they stalled out first point for a good 2 minutes up against MVP Space. It did make a difference as it looks like we've got some Runaway fans out.
Well, 50 were coming, right? Remember?
50 are supposed to come, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's dedicated fan base.
Yeah, so apparently on Weibo, the Korean fans had noted that they couldn't actually purchase the tickets for this event.
Right, because they're
and
out
so
of country.
Uncle Larry from Blizzard just steps in and says, yeah, you got 50 people, I got 50 tickets with your name on it. All 50 of you. It's a lot. To really just fly themselves out here.
Well, and then the Chinese fans are like, well, what about us? That's not fair. It's like, all right, well, here's 50 for you too. So just trying to make sure
Larry,
everyone gets
basically
to see
the
it.
Oprah
Santa,
of OWPS.
You get a ticket. You get a ticket. You look under your seats.
There's nothing there, guys.
There's nothing
but
there.
It's all right. Right now, MVP Space, you know, they're not deterred after that first map there. Runaway, they just really did play their style well. They played to the strength of Kaiser on the Reinhardt.
Right. I'm curious if we're going to see that come into the next maps. But I remember, we've talked about this so much over the last 10 weeks, however many weeks ago was OWPS about, you know, attack Sombra, or sorry, a DPS Sombra versus support Sombra. And we've seen that Runaway can run like a DPS Sombra.
Yeah, with Hawks.
And run the double support still with Hawks like flexing over. And I feel like with the current meta with like Mercy being a necessity, but you also need another healer, it can work really well still if you flex it back to a DPS role instead of a support role. Solar healer with Sombra, with the Solar healer's Mercy, is not going to be as effective as like a DPS Sombra with double support if you can play it correctly.
Speaking of Sombra, looks like we're going to one of our stomping grounds, Temple of Anubis. It remains to be seen. We didn't really get to see much Sombra coming out here on Anubis.
Really seen much Sombra over the entire tournament so far.
We saw it once, I don't want to say on offense.
Oh, we saw a couple times, but like it wasn't that
Not
great.
the 100% pick rate that you normally see on maps like Anubis or Volskaya. Or Route 66 first.
Yeah, it wasn't impressive the times we have seen it, but maybe that'll change in this matchup. Remember, it's a best of 7, and Runaway are looking, let's be fair, let's be honest, they're looking for a rematch against GC Superstar in the grand finals here.
They want it. They're on the opposite end, so they'll only meet up in the grand finals if it happens. We do have one fact. He started off on the defense Widowmaker. We've seen this before. You either have the Orisa or the Diva up there, just the body block for the Widowmaker, and of course you have the added value of the shield to deal with it.
And we saw like the triple DPS composition on a Runaway before against GC Busan just last week.
Let's go.
Where the hardest part about the comp is just to get on the point safely, since you're not going to have the double tanks. Kaiser's going to be on the Winston, Hawksaw going to be on the Genji, and Stitch has flex off of the Widow over back to Tracer, but Cox, most importantly, going to be on the Doomfist.
Yeah, that extra level of dive there as they jump right on top of one fact. It's going to be the dash coming out from Hawksaw. He's got the reset, but he's going to go for the reload first. Right click in with the melee, dash kill, taking him out, forcing out the res, but still, they don't have the bodies here on the side of MVP. Yaki trying to keep this back in contention for him, but he only gets the one kill before the rest of his team falls.
Jeez.
And he's the last member remaining, Hawksaw, proving why he's one of the best Genjis in Korea.
Man, it's just disgusting. Like, knowing the damage he can possibly do. You saw him go for the 180 dash after right-clicking over onto Fuse, because he knew the right-click would kill him, and he knew he'd get the reset to bounce back out. So they do get the point, basically in their first attack. Transition into the second point, though, as we now have Undine switching over to Sombra.
One fact is also swapped off also
This is interesting.
onto the Reaper.
Because obviously Fuse can't keep everyone alive,
Yeah.
but they need to take damage and get this EMP up, because this could be running away with this map.
Cox swapped off also from that Doomfist onto the Reaper. Wants more staying power, fighting power on the point now as Stitch just dashing through, pulling all the attention of MVP away. As right now, Runaway, they're just trying to establish their approach here. It looks like they're going to push in from the cave hand side. Pulse Bomb came out, Stitch didn't connect with it.
But you can see MVP's faced the health bars. They can't keep everyone alive. Kuki's half HP for such a long time, so is Bianca. Fuse is forced to Valkyrie just to heal everyone, to AoE heal the best he can. Basically a shaman with a chain heal here. But Runaway have been able to pick up 2 quick kills. Hawksaw does get hacked, something GC Busan did quite a few times against this man, but Stitch is there to clean up the kills.
Stitch is still there, and they've got 4 members now as the Sombra Undine hiding in the corner playing hide and go seek. He's gonna have to translocate out. That's the first tick. We'll see if they get on there before the second. No, they don't make it in time. So they've secured that as they come in. It's Kuki that goes down first. But Fuse gets the res, but he has to put himself in a vulnerable spot and he falls to Cox.
Substruct coming out of Bianca to zone them off the point. That's going to be the Wraith form used out of Cox to stay alive, and Death Blossom off the back of one. In fact, but gets mitigated by Janu, and the kill potential's there in the midst of this, even with the shorter cooldown, or the shorter length, sorry, on the defense matrix, and Runaway still contest the point. 2/3 done, and they're still picking up kills.
Fuse has just fallen. Undine is still there trying to stall this out. Bianca will make it in time with that mech, but he instantly gets focused down now. One fact back onto the point to try and stall this out, as we even got Yaki on there, but the kills are going all in Runaway's favor. They're target calling, sound barrier to double this sound, and keep pushing forward now with the kill onto Fuse. That's gonna allow Runaway to take point B. Who needs Mercy?
Apparently not M1, apparently not Runaway. Looking really good there. I mean, when you're solo healing Lucio on that final point too, you get sound barriers so quickly. And they played smart. Again, really good target focus.
Yep.
Out of Stitch and Hawksaw. I mean, every time these two are like attacking the same target, they instantly drop, and MVP haven't had a response to this just yet. And Cox, I mean, this goes back to the flexibility and the depth of every player on the team, except like Tizzy and Kaiser, I guess. Running so many different heroes. Be able to run triple DPS at this kind of level.
Well, Kaiser can run the Orisa. There was that. We saw that on King's Road defense.
What if like Kaiser's secretly been practicing like his Symmetra
Yeah.
And then we're going to see like attack Symmetra come out. Everyone's
Pull
going
it
to be like,
in
holy,
yeah.
this is the best thing ever. Secretly like 1v1ing the one-trick Symmetras we see in ranked.
After playing West Coast NA ranked for a while, I would imagine he learned a trick or two from the Symmetra one-tricks. Now MVP Space, I mean, they're on the verge of losing the second map. That's a great time bank for Runaway to have, 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
So we remember when we saw Temple of Anubis before, and we were wondering how did Orisa get high ground without the box that you need to jump on? Well, we got the answer now on our screens, and we'll get onto your screens in just a few seconds when we get closer to kicking things off. Comes down to Mei.
Yeah.
Hawk's actually running Mei just to get them on the high ground, then probably going to go back to Switch, I would assume.
Speed boost him back, and then they're going to swap him off. There's the Mercy, there's the 76. So they're going to go for this solo heal once again. But now the Torbrissa coming out. We saw it on King's Row defense. We're going to see it again here on Anubis. And this is going to be a composition that's really difficult to try and shut down.
It's going to be hard to dislodge them from that spot. But
like, if Kaiser can time his halts correctly, no one's actually going to be able to dive on them.
well, what they can do, MVP, they can like slightly switch their comp. Maybe it's like a Reinhardt. And then you just sit on point. Because they're directly above you, but the turret won't be able to hit directly under them on the points. They actually mitigate like a big portion of what Runaway can potentially do damage-wise. But MVP Space, they're going to try to fill this out, it seems. And Stitch is going to look for this 1v1 against One Fact.
Yep, One Fact on the high ground to try and challenge him, but Stitch, he still has that grappling hook. Connects with the first shot, forces them back, but he does have the health pack to fall back on. Does One Fact, and now here comes the dive. Stitch instantly getting focused down now, but he does have the pocket Mercy there. They're not able to deal much, but there it is now. Cox only able to get the DMAC onto Bianca, but finally they answer back. The reses do come out. It's a full 6v6 once again, but man, the kills just getting traded back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, they almost dislodged him just from the full dive alone. Really well coordinated with the shields, with the defense mates just to get people in there. But the problem is now, Molten Core is going to be up for Hawksaw. And as long as he gets that turret rebuilt and he hasn't been dislodged, just keep in mind, he's not going to be able to get back up there himself. Then I don't really see them in this next attack taking it.
Kaiser swaps off now, but there it is. The Molten Core comes out. Does he have the turret up? It's only level 1.
He doesn't need it!
And it falls. He's got the hammer out. This is the dwarf pushing forward. I didn't have my hammer.
I didn't know Hawksaw was a cosplayer. He was cosplaying Kaiser there. Just beating away with the hammer.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So they're going to hold on to it. Like you said, Kaiser has switched over to Winston, partially getting back to the point quick enough. But now slowly, with Runaway being pushed off the high ground, with Kaiser dying, switching off the Orisa, it's going to be even harder for Runaway to hold this point. I'm not saying they can't do it, but MVP Space have been able to take finally a step in the right direction.
Yeah, so they're just trying to keep the position of this turret as dynamic as possible, but here comes out the dive. They're going to go ahead and Transcendence, but that's a great shutdown coming out from Stitch. That's the blade gone for Yaki. Stitch is still alive now. They are going to be able to bring down Janu, but Cox is still here on the high ground. Soldier 76 just dishing out the damage. DMAX self-destruct now. He's going to hide himself away in the corner, but now Tactical Visor as he presses forward. There are 2 members out in the open as they will back away, but Runaway, they might have just held.
Keep in mind, this is live, guys. This means that if an ultimate has been used, even if the blade was on its way sheathing out, it will be completely eaten up. And Yaki, that's such a big ultimate for them, too. That's something they really needed. Him to get on the high ground, dashing back and forth. But Runaway are still trying to get back to the point altogether. And that means 3 people here are going to have to stall for some time if they can possibly do that.
Volswam's going to DMAC Janu, and One Fact has his own follow-up himself as Cox fell off the map. But the Primal Rage now comes out from Kaiser, taking down Undine, and Bumper is able to bring Janu right back into this fight. Coxal now swapping off this Torbjorn, able to reset up that turret with the Molten Core. And now, this is where you want to be as a Torbjorn. You want to be able to get the armor packs out to all of your team, especially onto that Mercy, all your squishy members here. And this is where the defense becomes so difficult to deal with.
No one saw that. He didn't miss it. It's hard, guys. It's hard, all right? Well, Wundine is going to go down to Stitch.
Well, I feel like Hoxall shouldn't have missed that, right? He plays projectile.
Come on, man.
Let him have projectile.
Come on, let him have this. He's throwing armor packs at the enemy, you know? Like the shurikens.
What if that did damage?
No. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Like 300 damage, something ridiculous if you can hit him.
Like 10.
It's just raining armor packets from the sky. But we're into the final moments here. 17 seconds left to go for MVP Space to capture this first point. They've got a third in, and Stitch knows One Fact's behind them, but One Fact needs to be with this team. He needs to look for a kill somewhere, and him to close that gap against Widow's going to be so tough.
Oh, Fuse is the first one to go down as the tactical visor comes out from Cox, still on the high ground, just now getting dislodged. Dropped low, but it's Hoxile now. Just coming in, and they are cleaning up MVP space. MVP space only able to secure a third here before Runaway have their way with them. And there it is, Runaway. Second map on the board, 2 away from moving on to face off against Miraculous Youngster.
And that's going to be a crazy matchup too, because tomorrow we have 2 quarterfinals still to come. And then of course, the day after we'll be kicking off our first and second semifinal. Getting so close to finishing off. Bumper getting the play. He looks so happy that he got play of the game too. But again, I mean, so elusive, a lot of healing. Got great sound barrier off there to hit everyone on the team. And Runaway looking fantastic. Again, there are some like interesting things what they're doing with their compositions. Like we've seen their Rista Torbjorn now twice.
Yeah.
But they've shown, most importantly, that they can still play the comps and the way they know. Again, they're playing like MY, they're playing the comps they know, their own style in this change of the patch, and it's working. Whether or not it continues to work, you know, a month or 2 from now, if Mercy stays the way she is, will be a different story.
Seeing some of the smiles on the Runaway members, kind of seems like they don't even know what's going on. And that's actually how they describe themselves. We don't know how we're winning, we're just winning.
That's a terrible thing to have, right? I don't know how we're winning, we're just doing it. I wouldn't complain about that. But MVP space, I think they're, you know, maybe the opportunity. If they want to continue to run dive, maybe switch auto in. Because One Fact and Yaki together aren't really working in the style they're trying to make them play.
We saw the kind of effect that auto can have, but we'll see if they do that in the third map after this break.
开了吗？时间加速器我都能搞定，这肯定没问题。全体守望先锋，全体守望者们，还是不对。所有曾是守望者的伙计们，我是温斯顿，那当然是我了。30年前，智能机械向人类宣战，世界各国无能为力。直到他们召集了一些英雄精英，为了使人类摆脱致谢危机的威胁，守望先锋诞生了。你们成为了人类历史上最伟大的和平守护者和开拓者。你们之所以被选中，是因为你们有能力和实力。你们之所以加入，是因为……这些你们都知道。听着。人们认为没有我们，他们的生活会更好。他们甚至把我们当作罪犯。他们摧毁了我们这个大家庭。但是你们看看，现在必须有人站出来。我们必须站出来。我们可以再次改变这个世界。这个世界比以往更加需要我们。你们来不来？
And the MVP of map number 2 on Anubis between Runaway and MVP Space. It's going to be Bumper as the solo healer, as he's done on King's Row and now here.
I'm just imagining in comp, you know, you're that guy being the flex player for your team. You lock in healer because you guys need a healer. And of course, the last guy of the team locks in Hanzo because, you know, that's what you need on your team, of every team, right? He's the MVP because he's willing to play like solo support, you know, in a game and to push through.
Heroes.
Yeah. And he had some great boops, too, on Lucio. Whenever we saw, like, Winston diving in Kooky, boop him into the air, get him out of his own bubble so he take a lot of damage. So really well done by him. Looks happy. Happy to be here, happy to be playing. And funny enough, you know, Hawksaw, he can make a blade a weapon. He can make a hammer a weapon. What can't this man beat people to death with?
Armor pack.
He'll make it work somehow.
We have some Runaway fans.
I want that thing.
I do too.
The light up? I think it has like the roster. Okay, we have a jersey.
Yeah, I want more though.
You have an MY jersey now.
It's a jacket. I don't have a jersey yet. Eventually. One
You know what?
day.
I'm going to get Kaiser's. And then you're going to be so jealous. It's not going to fit me, but I'm going to put it up my wall.
That's actually what I was planning to do with my extra Runaway jerseys. Frame them.
How many do you have again? Why don't you tell people at home?
Well, I'm ordering 4. It hasn't arrived yet. I don't have it yet.
Were you wearing
I have
stitches
one. I have
when you
stitches,
talked
yeah.
to him? Yeah, you were. Yeah, we were at the LAN cafe. We were trying to like prep a little bit and play a little bit of Overwatch.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into the story what happened to me in ranked, but we got to talk to Stitch, and you were so excited to talk to him. Stitch was so shy in person.
was
You were
great.
wearing his jersey.
No, we learned a lot
was
about him.
translating for us.
Yeah, we learned a lot about Stitch, you know.
He wasn't on a team before Runaway.
He was never on a team before Runaway. They had actually just discovered him off of the ladder.
Yeah.
Right, and that's which was like, you know, the same story for most of these Korean pros. Hawksall beforehand, you know, they just discovered him off the ladder. That's what Runner did when he brought him into the team, and same with Stitch.
And I like that teams are willing to do that, to take people off the ladder, because in the beginning, there was a lot of complaints about certain teams and players sticking with like the old guard, like, oh, we want to pick him up because I played a game with him before, but not really going into the ladder and seeing like who was really good there. But like across multiple eSport titles, a lot of the best players are the ones you just randomly find on ladder.
Yeah.
And they're able to put a team together with that person, able to really make him excel. Like, wasn't Boombox originally just from the ladder?
I believe so.
And they're like, hey, he's a really good Zen. Let's give him a shot.
Really good Zen.
Yeah, and then that's what happens. And you get people like that, and they really start to excel, and that's when you get these new breed of talent coming in that never had a chance before.
Yeah, excited to see him. He's going to be, I believe, at the BlizzCon World Cup.
Yep.
At the BlizzCon. But I mean, a lot of our players that are competing this weekend will be there. 2 members of MY will be there representing Team China. We got
Blake,
4 members from Blank
us.
that are right there behind us. We're talking about them. There you go.
Hey guys. Hey Blank. How you doing?
Hey.
Yeah,
there,
you can't
there.
see them on camera, but they're there. I mean, maybe Trill gets on Huss's shoulders. You'll be able to see them.
Or maybe we bring them onto the desk in the next few days.
Yeah, maybe not.
Who knows?
Okay, I thought one was coming up here to say hi to us.
It seems like there might be a substitution going on, which in this portion you are allowed to. Well, throughout the entire
I
tournament,
wonder
you're allowed
how
to
many
between
substitutes
maps.
you get. Because maybe that was like a hesitation of MVP. Obviously, the first map, they wanted to run one fact and Yaki. Second map, they're like, all right, maybe we'll give it another shot to see what we can do.
Yeah.
But now we do know it looks like Otto's going to be coming in for one fact. So they're going to be switching that. But I wonder if he can come back, depending on what they need. Again, they were running dive with the team lineup that normally didn't run dive for them.
Yeah, with the Genji, with Yaki on the Genji there. That was definitely an interesting thing.
If Stitch cosplay Tracer, would that be like the most adorable thing you've ever seen?
I would die.
Oh my god, die from cuteness overload.
Yeah, it's just, I would first get diabetes and then I would die. It's just so
It's just so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, Kuka there on your screen. I think MVP Space have what it takes to do it. But I think the time Runaway put in before the grand finals of Apex is still like showing here. Like I think they still have that drive and
that competitive drive.
And we wondered, you know, going 4-3 against GC Busan. If you haven't seen the game by then, you know what? I don't care if I'm spoiling it for you. Losing 4-3 in season 2, like you would imagine,
so close,
you would imagine like a team would be so disheartened from that.
No,
but they're not.
They've got Papa Runner. Runner is there. He's the heart, the soul of the team, and it's a shame that he's not here, you know, to back them up right now, to give him like the words of encouragement that they like always need. But hey, they don't need it because they're up 2-0.
His wife filled him with words of encouragement when we were eating today. No, Kaiser,
I can't translate any of that, by the way. So,
but no, yeah, seeing Kaiser come in is a really good sign for them. Really cool to see. I still say MVP are a really strong team.
They are.
It's just I think they got in their own heads a little bit because obviously you're up against a team who you know, got second place in Apex, who you played against and lost to in groups of Apex. And I think it's like a mental block for them because they have the skill to do it. We saw it last week, how dominating they were. But with Auto coming back in now, I wonder if this is going to be their time to start picking up maps.
Is this where it becomes apparent, the skill gap between Tier 1 and Tier 2 Korea possibly? Or
I think maybe, just maybe, MVP were expecting a different style. Like we're expecting people, or we're expecting Runaway to be running a lot more Mercy.
Yeah.
Because again, like the Lucio speed, when you have one and they don't, it doesn't only make you a lot quicker, but they're also a lot slower.
Yeah.
So its power of it is like doubled because you can run in quicker and they can't escape from you.
Yeah, it gives you the option of engaging or disengaging.
And most teams like MVP who are trying to run the dive comp, when you run dive, you need to run it and attack on your own terms. When they're speeding into you, catching you off guard, you're not ready to fight, and you're not getting to fight the way you want to. So I think they weren't expecting maybe like the Lucio Zen so often out of Runaway on attack, but they need to adapt in series. If you want to be the best team in the world, you got to be able to adapt, and MVP, this is their chance to do it.
This is definitely their chance to do it. They are currently down 0-2 up against Runaway, and I really wasn't expecting this. I was expecting to go a bit, you know, back and forth between these two teams, especially because of the lack of preparation time for Runaway. Like we had mentioned, they played their GC Busan match. They had about 3 or 4 hours of like sleep before they had to get onto a flight to get over here for the group draw stage. And so they haven't had any real time off.
Then they did the group draw, then the next day they had to wake up and do media day, and then they got scrims like halfway through the day. And again, we've been hearing from a lot of teams like blank behind us saying they didn't look that good on day one, but something happened from day 1 to day 2 because they're playing really well. But again, we can just credit to that the fact they're playing their own style. They're playing what they've been running in Apex for the last, how many weeks has it been? How many months has it been for them?
They haven't stopped. It's been a constant grind for them. Every single season they've been in Apex, season 1 through 4. And moving on, of course, to season 5, and expecting great things out of them. Now, looks like we do have the issues all sorted out. So it is going to be one fact coming out. Well, Otto, we're replacing him.
So again, this is what we talked about, right? The flexibility of both teams. Runaway can flex within their own players. MVP Space can flex within adding and substituting people out.
Yeah.
But then again, that gives you an easy read into MVP. All right, well, Otto's coming in. Probably running a lot of Genji. Probably running a lot of Tracer still. So they can expect that in this matchup. But then again, depending on where we go, we still could see Yaki on Pharah, which Runaway had no answer for.
Yeah. No answer for, except just kill everything on the ground.
I mean,
Which is a valid
that technically
strat.
is an answer.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Valid strat. It's just...
It's not an answer to the Pharah, but it's an answer to winning the map either way.
And so, all right, this is why that we have Otto coming in. So, I believe, yeah, Yaki should be able to bring out the Pharah for them. And he is a strong Pharah in his own right. But Oasis, it's a map 2 out of 3. Where you can run Pharah pretty well. We've even seen some people want to run it in University.
Yeah, didn't work extremely well then, but it can work. And I don't know, I think we're going to be going to, like, I'm looking at it right now on my screen, City Center first. So far is definitely a high possibility. And knowing Runaway hasn't run too much hit scan.
They can. Cox.
They can. I'm not saying
they can go for the Pharah Mercy with Cox also on Pharah. That's actually what they were doing since, like, Season 3.
Well, I mean, we'll see if they're going to go that route. I had a little bit of a look at their roster, or on their lineup already, what they're actually playing, which is kind of why I was going that route away from the Pharah, because we're not probably going to see it unless they switch last second. But I think Runaway don't really need to change it until they felt threatened. You know, like LGD back at OWPS, if you guys watched that one, they ran the McFist combo every game in, game out, and never changed comps until MY back then challenged them.
That was so cool. I've always wanted to be there for one of those the chants at the beginning of the matches.
I want to hear it like Wolf and Achilles hear it.
Yeah?
You know, with like a crowd of like 30,000 women.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, the grand finals, it was just like a sea of Runaway fans in their pink jumpers. So now we're loading on to map number 3. Here is Oasis, a city center. There's going to be no Pharah on the side of Runaway, but of course MVP Space will be running that themselves.
So I think they're bringing in Auto right now because they want to run Genji later on, probably towards like University most likely. Hoxa though trying to control high ground, takes a rocket directly to his face. So you have Stitch to deal with Yaki, but the way Yaki's been playing behind the gazebo hasn't given Stitch an opportunity to go for the shots, because if he did, he would put himself in danger.
There you go. They've already started it off. It's going to be Cox once again just raw fragging power coming out from Zenyatta's that just make the difference in these matchups. The Orb of Discord continually on Nyaki, and he's just getting chunked down. It's going to be Stitch with the headshot, forcing out the res, but you run away. They take the point first.
I'm surprised actually not see MVP Space contest that one. You got the Lucio. So I don't know why they have the Lucio here actually. Yeah. Lucio obviously can AoE heal really well, but you're not going to help Yaki. And you're not going to help Undine either on the Mercy. So maybe switch things up. Maybe they expect to be against a Lucio themselves. I mean, they should have been able to get positioning originally just because they have the Lucio, and yet they were forced back.
Blind dive coming out as Kuki gets into the back line. He wasn't even in the back line. He was like halfway there. He was forced back, gets healed back up into this, and Janu now overextending as he gets demeched.
Gets demeched by Kuki, and Otto trying to go back in. It was a pulse bomb up. Valkyrie has been used out of Undine, trying to escape. I think the Deadeye out of Stitch is just trying to zone them behind. Again, this Gazebo gets some damage in onto him, but not enough to kill him. And Haksal doing Haksal things, gets a double kill and a reflect kill onto Otto.
Otto kills himself. He knew the deflect was up. He just wanted to reset quicker, it seems. Especially because, well, Haksal, he's not going to build up any ultimate off of that.
I really just want to see Haksal and Shadowburn go head-to-head. I just want to see a Genji off. There's so many good Genjis in Korea.
Best Genji world. Yeah, I'd pay to see that.
Soon, if Elon Musk sponsors them, Best Genji Moon.
Best Genji Moon.
Best Genji Universe. All right, so now MVP Space come in. Otto has switched to Genji, so we're going to see the Genji v Genji battle. Though the McCree out of Stitch could be the big determining factor of how this really goes.
Yaki here trying to dislodge Kaiser, who's on the high ground now. They know there is no Pharah in contention, and so the dive comes out. Kaiser jumps in first. He's not getting chucked out quite yet, but there is the blade. Never mind. That's Transcendence going to be used by Cox. Now, the Valkyrie is going to be used by Bumper. Also, self-destruct. All the ultimates coming out from Runaway, and they're already winning out this fight.
Yeah, Bumper hasn't really been pressured, and he won't be pressured as long as he has someone to escape to, someone to jump to, which ideally Kaiser can kind of facilitate that for him. And again, kill feed pretty much just going all blue for Runaway. MVP Space not really able to get any frags here. And with the 99% taken away, Stitch is going to zone them off. And that'll be the first map here on Oasis now taken for Runaway.
No quarter given, and Runaway just played this perfectly. We saw, because Stitch was playing on that McCree, he played really far back while he allowed Kaiser and Janu just to control the gazebo, the high ground gazebo there, and then challenge the Pharah Mercy in the sky. And so they weren't able to find anything at all. When on the side of MVP Space, Kuki tried to go in for the dives. He had to go in blind. He had no information whatsoever, and we saw he would fall short. He would fall maybe 10 meters away from Stitch, and Stitch was able to just get 3 shots off to him and force him back. And of course, because of how Oasis works out, you can stall out these fights super long. And MVP Space never really called a retreat button. They extended out these fights much longer than they really needed to be. They could have had another opportunity for one more attack.
I think if MVP Space are going to show any life on Oasis, it's going to be off the back of this map. This is like perfect for Genji Tracer to be run, though it's already hard enough to kill Cox alone, but with Stitch protecting him makes it even more difficult, especially with the flashbangs as Cox takes a couple of shots from Undine.
Runaway showing a different form here. Stitch, of course, still on the McCree, but now it's going to be Haksal on that Tracer.
Mox already gets their first initial kill on a Kuki, and Stitch gets the one onto Yaki. His MVP Space now down 2 people as the third's going to fall. Cox takes Fuse out of the air. And Runaway going to be locking this down, completely controlled off the first take.
A lot of questions about Runaway at the beginning of this match, and I think they're being answered here, Jason. I think they're being answered.
Yeah, I mean, they're still playing really well. They're still just like, I mean, off just basic skill, mechanical skill, raw skill that they can apply, they're still an insanely talented team. And I wonder what's going to happen if they do meet up against MY on Saturday. But here we go, the engagement to come out. Undine gets a double kill, takes down Cox, takes down Haksal.
Yeah, there was one res as Cox was brought back into this. Now the blade comes out for Otto. We've seen what he could do with it before, but there is a Transcendence there to answer as Cox falls down into lower by the Mega Health Pack, but still, the Primal Rage comes on out from Kaiser here as he tries to stall this out even longer. 38% on the board for Runaway. A Stitch, he answers back. Undine's gone. They've got that Deadeye to try and answer back. They're going to be able to get the D-Mech onto this Diva as the res does come out.
So she's going to run around the corner, going to run directly into Yaki, who does recall back out of this. Bumper has gone down from Kuki pushing him. I think MVP Space will finally turn the point around, but Haksal still fighting. Kaiser is somehow still alive on this point, and Cox picks up another kill, finally gets revenge. and avenges himself against Undine.
It was a 5v2 on the point, and the two members of Runaway still keeping this alive somehow. As Hawkstyle just going in, darting in and out, just contesting the point and making sure they're not getting any progress at all. We've got the respawns coming out from Runaway.
Where's the focus? How's MVP Space not cleaning up these kills? Hawkstyle, like you said, still alive. Kaiser's still alive, back on point too, working towards his next Primal Rage. As Jonu does have the remake, it comes back into this fight. They're still going to hold here. MVP Space had 5 men on the point against the 3 of Runaway, and yet they're not able to take this point away from the grasp of them.
Hawkstyle finally falling, and now they have the cleanup. But that should have been over.
Yeah, like 40% ago.
Exactly. It was a 5v2 as the new UI shows us on the point, and they weren't able to clear that out. That spells maybe miscommunication on the side of MVP. That might be an indicator that there's something wrong in this team right now.
Well, Stitch with another Deadeye ready to go. Kaiser with the Primal Rage to get back on point directly. Flash Wave doesn't come in, interrupts the blade for a second at a time, and Jonu, with the mech alone, runs him over, turns him into roadkill. It looks like they will be able to get a resuit out of Bianca as he won't be focused out in time, but Undine has fallen again at 90% towards his Transcendence.
Bianca's about to get demech'd here as we do have that Valkyrie coming out. And so they clean up Bianca, 89% now, as we have Stitch applying pressure into the members of MVP that are trying to get in. They do have a moment of reprieve before they have to jump in here. 96, 97% now. They jump on in. They are contesting the point, but we are in overtime.
But Bumper's already Valkyrie too, so he's been able to get the res that they needed and also escape. They're not going to have the double res anymore this time, but with Fuse, who falls to Jonu, connects the self-destruct onto this man, and a post-bug comes in out of Hawkstyle to take Undine out of this fight. And Runaway, are they going to go up 3-0 in this series?
They're very much near it right now, 4v1. They just need to get the D-Mech onto Bianca, finish him off, and Runaway. They just need to clean up Yaki here. They're going to go ahead and take the 3-0 lead in a dominant fashion here on Oasis. 100-0 and then 100-40.
A little bit sad, Jamers. I'm happy and sad at the same time.
It's been a bittersweet week.
I mean, I'm happy to see Runaway playing this well, but I'm a little bit sad to see MVP Space getting rocked this hard. I expected a lot more out of this team, and again, I just feel like they haven't been able to play their own game. We know a lot of teams focus on their own style.
Yeah.
They don't really necessarily need to go into reading into the other teams and the way they're playing. But the MVP Space we saw last week and the MVP Space we're seeing this week, obviously against different caliber of teams, has been a completely different.
Yeah, completely unfazed. Our Runaway, take a look at them. 3-0 now. One map away, sitting on a match point to move on, to face off, possibly against Miraculous Youngster in a few days' time.
Yeah, we have a lot of good semifinals coming up. Actually cannot wait for those too, because semifinals are going to be really close on the top half and the bottom half of the bracket. But now, Runaway 1 map away, and MVP have the chance to take it to another map of their choosing.
But you guys will have to wait a short little while as we take a quick break here. When we get back, it might be the conclusion of Runaway versus MVP Space.
我的仆从准保会让你们大吃一惊。想不想躲在墙角瑟瑟发抖？喽啰们，战斗，战斗，直到黑夜的尽头！
Everything's moving so fast, it feels like I'm standing still. Let's get it. Hey, man, don't give up. Let's get patched up. Max healing boost. We move together as one. Oh, feel that healing beat.
And the MVP for map number 3 is going to be Stitch. As we see, it was a pretty short map, only 11 eliminations there. It felt like MVP space on Oasis just lacked any kind of motivation.
They definitely...
There was a lackluster kind of feeling towards their dive.
They definitely weren't fighting.
Yeah.
It felt like, I don't know, they weren't able to get the engagements. Maybe they were respecting Runaway a little bit too much. Let me ask you an honest question, James.
Yeah.
If Runaway made a doll of Stitch.
Yep.
Even let me finish.
Yep.
Okay.
I've been a fan, right? I mean, not
would
gonna
you?
be biased
I
here,
feel like if you did get a doll of him, you would actually play with it, like make him play Overwatch, like on a little gaming PC and stuff like that.
Well, there is that the Barbie, gamer Barbie, I think.
Really?
I want to say there is, or it might be blogger dog, or like blogger.
Well, you know, okay, I don't know where country it's from, but you see it on Reddit a lot of them making these like little tiny dinners and like tiny equipment and
With the
stuff like that.
hamsters?
Yeah. Would you do that for the Stitch doll? I don't know. But no, these guys, I mean, we're talking lightly of them, but they've made this series look super easy and light for themselves because Runaway up 3-0. They held them on King's Row. Oasis, they didn't drop a single percent.
Well, they did.
Did they?
Yeah, 40%.
Okay, so they dropped 40%. They are just looking like clearly the better team. Even the lack of practice on the new patch, they're just looking dominant.
The thing was, we were talking to Blank, who are sitting right behind us. We're one of their scrim partners. We asked them, did they play any of that Corbin up against you? They said no. And so this is just something that Runaway are pulling out of their bag of tricks, and it's working.
Huh. Well, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Try to hit Trill with a water bottle.
Well, there's clearly something broken on the side of MVP space.
So
is it their spirit? What do you fix here?
To say,
yeah, it's pretty good, huh?
The spirit was pretty good. Like, I don't think anything's broke within their team necessarily. It's just they're not, again, getting the fights that they want. They're not getting the engages. Like, they're like not even engaging. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They're the ones always being fought against, or is always having to like defend against Runaway, who's not even running like a dive comp. They had McCree Tracer there.
And sometimes it feels like they are rushing these engages without the information. I keep harping back to this, but seeing Kuki try to dive onto a McCree and falling short by about 10, 15 meters, something went wrong there if your Winston is not diving the proper target and misses the target by that much.
And the thing is, like, we're being harsh on MVP space a little bit here, but that's because we know how good they can be from last week.
Yeah,
and
we're not angry.
It's just,
We're
it's not,
disappointed.
yeah. We're like those parents that, you know, you do something wrong and they're not angry at you, they're just really disappointed in your decisions. But they're not playing to the same level, and we want to see them do it. Like, I want to see them come back right now. I want to see them take this the full series.
Yeah.
I want to see them challenge out against Runaway because this is a grudge match for them. This is the team that they lost to in Apex. It's a team they're losing to at the moment as we go into potentially our final map of not only this match, but our final map of the day. It's going to be Junkertown.
Junkertown.
I don't know how much practice Runaway has on this map. I really don't know. I would imagine not a ton.
None.
Obviously,
it was played in Challenger, but
well, I
that's
mean,
it.
well, as in like they're screaming. Sorry.
Yeah,
they're
no, I know.
Because I would imagine they're probably going to play this map and try to learn the new meta at the same time.
Yeah.
But this is going to be, I think, MVP Space Stomping Ground. This is the map we saw last week where they were decimating people off the back of Otto and his Genji.
So, we've seen it before. This kid is adorable. He was also the McCree from last week. So, hey, front page of Reddit.
I want to say, I want to see them do the Bastion.
Yeah.
You know, like the Bumblebee transformer, where you have
Yeah.
like a Halloween costume, they transform from the car into the mech. I want to see them do the same thing with Bastion. That'd be pretty sweet.
Now, we've seen a lot of Widowmaker. That can't be, you know, that's just how it is here on Junkertown.
It's like, all right,
Yeah.
if we're making obvious observations.
It's an understatement.
There's 6 people that play on one team.
We've seen a lot of Widowmaker, but it's generally one fact on the side of MVP Space that'll play it for them. But this time, they're not going to run that at all. It's going to be Stitch now, just flexing, showing off his hero pool. We've primarily only seen him on the Tracer all season long.
Stitch showing that he can flex to quite a few different heroes, looking for the second leap strike. Won't hit it this time. But they're getting some progress, and they're running a recess. So I think, you know, the time they have had to practice, Kuki dies mid-air. That Discord orb was on him at the perfect time. The res will be there, though, at a bumper to get Cox back up.
Otto's still alive, and he's trying to answer back. Yaki able to find that kill onto Bumper, and so MVP be able to reestablish their defense here and force them back into the respawn queue.
That's a queue you don't want to be in. It's a long line of it, too, because Runaway pretty much got completely wiped out. Stitch is going to get a kill and defuse, though, so that buys them time here. This is their opportunity to push. They don't have a res anytime soon. And it was a huge pick until Yaki picked himself up a kill. But they still have the momentum, I think, Runaway. They still have the chance to push here, and Yaki's been spotted out, and he's going to have a very tough time escaping.
I feel like this is where Hoxall should just go McCree, defend the back line, instead allow Stitch to try and carry with this Widowmaker. He was able to get the pick onto Fuse. I mean, it's trying to connect a shot onto the Mercy. Now he connects, but he doesn't have the follow-up damage here. Stitch. It's going to be Undine who takes him out now as Otto is on the hunt. Blade comes out. Hoxall got the dash kill onto Bianca, and now he's on top of Undine, takes him out. Will he be able to get the Mercy? Fuse is still alive. He's got the res, got the double res off, bringing them both back. We're into a 6v6 once again.
Yeah, Hoxall helped get the D-suit, most importantly, onto Bianca. Nice little reflect comes in, and not able to get the kill just yet. As you can see, still see Stitch doing some decent damage. He's not getting any kills on the board, as we're not seeing him in the kill feed, but he's applying a lot of pressure. Auto Blade being used, trying to go up against Kaiser. Emperor with the hammer will be shut down by the Blade of Otto. And even Johnny's switching over to Hog. So they've actually switched their comp quite a bit here, hopping off the Orisa and hopping off the Diva. There's a lot of kill potential on this team, I was going to say, if they kept the Reinhardt. He was pretty high on his Earth Shatter, wasn't he? Got like 50-60% in.
I want to say, yeah.
But switches to Winston here, so being very disciplined in his picks and his switches.
Oh, Cox starts it all off. Undine goes down. That was the call coming out from Runaway here. They're going to camp the body as they do a great job of allowing Fuse to get in there, get the res onto Undine. We saw he worked with Kuki jumping in with that Winston body block for him, but Hoxall's got a blade. Fuse is gone. He's on top of the supports. Undine's going to go down, and now he gets himself back in. That's going to be a triple for Hoxall, as it's all Runaway on the kill feed here to complete out first.
Yeah, that's going to be, it looks like Otto trying to escape. He'll eventually be picked off by Kaiser. And MVP Space will not be able to put up a first-point defense for now. They're not switching their comps, really, it seems. Again, I mean, when you have Otto in the team, we see MVP Space be very one-dimensional. Just dive. Dive is the only thing they've run with this guy. And I want to see them dive. Again, they weren't even, like, forcing the fights. We did see Otto go in kind of by himself at some points, but they're not going in as a team. they haven't been able to make the dive do what it's supposed to do just yet, whether that's Runaway doing a good job of disengaging or MVP Space giving too much respect to the side of Runaway.
I think it was honestly just off that one kick, right? Forcing out that res. Stitch with an uncharacteristic flop on that pulse bomb, but never mind, he makes up for it already, forcing out the res, forcing out the Valkyrie. It looks like from Fuse now, we're once again into a 6v6, but Stitch now looks seemingly to be invisible into the back line, now drawing the attention away as they push forward with that Transcendence on the side of Runaway. Cox dropping low, but he got the pocket out from Bumper. They fight back in. There's the blade now coming out from Otto.
Oh, Oxall baits him in and gets the deflect off to prevent him from actually killing him. And Otto gets nothing with the blade. Eventually they'll get a D-suit, yes. But it was Bianca and Yaki to really come up in the chaos of Otto's blade to get these kills and to hold Runaway back. But RA, they've been saving up ultimates here. They got a Valkyrie coming up soon. They got a blade. They've got the pulse bomb. Pulse bomb will miss though out of Stitch, unfortunately.
Undine though, he's gonna have that Transcendence to deal with the blade. Blade comes out, but Undine did use that Transcendence to answer for it. I mean, it was a great pick coming out from Otto, taking out his counterpart. It's all MVP, pushing them back. Runaway now left with 2 minutes on the clock.
And if this was the old patch, that would have been a blade in the next fight.
Yeah.
He would have had it yet again. So really well done by Otto to go for the Genji v Genji. Something that reminds me of like Swoosh. Now on Misfits previously though, when he was on Movistar Riders, running the Genji for them, he loved to go for the Genji battles. He would love to focus on the Genjis and the Genjis only if he could get them.
There can only be one.
Exactly.
There can be only one.
And something that Cruz talked about, he got really frustrated with when playing in those matches. Because every time he'd blade, Swoosh would blade right back at him and look for the kill. Dune is going to get caught out here. Get dove on.
Fuse does have the Valkyrie, but it's going to be Bumper that runs it first as the blade comes out from Otto. So now Fuse able to get the double res on back, but it's going to be a 6v6 once again. Kaiser in the back line with that Primal Rage. Winston, he's getting kited away now, down to half HP, but it's Hoxall now. Coming in, a blade of his own, only picking up Undine once again, but still, that gives him the man advantage for Runaway as it continues to push this payload along. 1 minute left on the clock for Runaway.
Got a credit to Otto, build up these blades extremely quick, over 20% towards his next one, and they're sure as hell gonna need it for MVP Space to put up a defense on this next point. Yaki does kill Cox. I'm not sure exactly where that was. Must have been the back line, yeah.
He's just spawn camping him.
So they're down a healer, they're down most importantly Transcendence.
It's still a 5v5. Stitch starts it off. Fuse goes down. That is huge. Bumper is still alive here, so they can get the res back on in. They need Yaki to come back and fight on the front line. Here's Bianca. Does take out Bumper, but still, that's a 2-for-1 exchange. Pulse bomb to get the D-Mech out to Bianca. They're going to be able to clean her up very shortly there as Kaiser finishes her off.
And Cox, I believe, is still being held away from his team at the moment. I don't know. No, he's here in the midst of it. Yeah, so you get some Discords coming in. He's able to rejoin, so I believe Yaki came back to help out, but Dashley going to get the kill on a Stitch. Transcendent out of Cox going to be used, but Yaki's pretty much by himself at this time.
Yeah, they're just trying to stall out for as long as he can. 10 seconds left before Runaway complete this out.
Wow.
There's someone still stalling.
Yeah,
it was
Undine.
Yeah.
No, Undine. He switched over to Transcendence to actually contest the point. I'm not sure exactly why. Kaiser, great little time to make sure to secure that kill to Bianca for no resuit. And Runaway will take this point, bar a C9.
That is going to be rough. They committed the Transcendence. They committed the self-destruct now. And Hoxall has a blade for this next fight.
Yeah.
Just they used it just for the stall. That got them nothing at all because it was already in overtime.
I think he was trying to keep Yaki alive there. I don't know. That was a little bit questionable, but I mean, MVP Space have to deal with this now, right? They know they're down the trance and think of their next plan. It has to be Otto trying to come in. He knows Cox doesn't have a blade either, or sorry, have a Transcendence either. So if Otto can go in, pick up a couple of kills, they can stall for time.
Great dive coming out as Otto goes in with the blade. He will ultimately fall, but the reses are now coming out. Janu gets a D-Mech. Hoxall with a follow-up kill. It's going to be all Runaway now. 6 members all alive here as the payload continues to push forward. 35 seconds left on the clock for Runaway.
And Runaway didn't even trance that. I think Cox got it up like towards the end of the blade, though the self-destruct was able to clean up Otto. And Undine is only at 60%. Hoxall's going to have a very easy time with this blade. I wonder if he's read into it, though, to know the percent that Undine has. Because he could completely win this map for them right now with one blade.
Blade has come out. He's right on top of Undine, and they knew exactly. It's Bumper that keeps timer of these ultimates now. But it's a back and forth affair. The man advantage. As the Transcendence is going to be used by Cox here to try and double down into this. They have to fight. They have to get out to the payload. Someone does.
He doesn't have
dash.
1
second left. He doesn't have the dash, but no one is able to make it back. And a little bit of a blunder coming out from Runaway. One of the first ones really in this entire series, but blunder nonetheless.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate for them, but to be fair, they got pretty far. As far as you've seen Junkertown go today with MY versus Blank earlier on. If you didn't catch that match, make sure to go tune into that one. In the VODs, obviously. Not now.
Yeah.
MVP Space, they know the distance they need to get. And I think it's very doable. Even with this match being so one-sided so far for Runaway, now on the attacking side, well, they can force the fights on their own terms. They have the opportunity. It's a lot easier to do it on the attack than on the defense. Because you get positions you want, you can read out the enemy's defense and then engage. But if they can't force the fights correctly, then they're not going to win this match. And they're not going to win the series. They need to get the engagements they want. They have to figure out what's going wrong within their team. Why are they not forcing the fights at the right time and fix it?
Here's the issue. We didn't see a defensive Widowmaker coming out from MVP Space, so that signals to us they might just not play Widowmaker at all. They might not run the offensive Widowmaker. We know how much stronger defensive Widowmaker is actually here on Junkertown, where you're able to read into the sidelines. You know which angle the offense is going to approach from. You can play so far back. There's so much room. Yeah, unless you leave, yeah.
No, you're right, though. Defensive is way easier because also you have an Orisa typically. You have a shield to sit behind. Yeah, you give your position away of where you're going to be, but you're not going to die.
Yeah, and so the only approach really is for them to try and come in from the flanks. And once again, the information is there. You're able to tell exactly where the enemy team is. It's difficult to try and get the jump on someone from the offensive end.
Nice license plate. Shrapnel. Didn't know that. Just noticed little things. Well, MVP Space. Again, let's see what they can do. Are they going to force the fights? Or are Runaway going to get the engages they want? Even though the comp they're running, there's no way Runaway should be controlling the fights. There's no way they should be the ones making the fight happen, except maybe Haksal and the Genji.
Stitch just takes a pot shots off. Hook comes in.
Not even sitting behind the shield either.
Ooh,
he did himself very vulnerable.
Yeah. We saw him go down there, forcing out the instant res. Bianca, though, low on that mech. Will get D-mech now. The halt keeps him in place. Haksal trying to finish him off. It's going to be Kaiser that takes him out.
They have Emperor side up already, too. Stitch wasn't on the kill feed a lot. Got a couple of kills, yes, but he did a lot of damage, most importantly.
Yeah, he was primarily focusing on Bianca and Koki, taking them out of there.
And he died right away, too, and then got rezzed.
Yeah.
And still was able to get his Emperor side up before anyone was even close to an ultimate.
That was a pretty quick res as soon as he went down.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, you can see a little bit vulnerable on that right-hand side. Bumper, most importantly, could be picked off. And they're getting the engagement they want. Stitch does go down. The res is going to be there, though, and Yaki's getting close to pulse bomb mode. These two tanks who are so fat and slow.
Yeah.
There's no real chance he's going to miss this.
This is the strength we've been seeing out of the Korean scene on 1.16. Roadhog and Orisa. They just have all that damage mitigation, and it works so well as the blade does come out. It's going to be Otto to use it first, but Stitch shuts them down, forcing out the secondary res. But Janu now taking out Yaki. It's going to be the man advantage as Runaway 6v5 here on the defense. Haksal trying to get focused down, but he's got his Pocket Mercy to keep him alive.
Yeah, he's got his blade too, so there's very high priority to keep this man alive, to use this blade in this fight. See Stitch trying to hit a shot here onto Otto, who does dash and escape for now, though he's very low on HP. The halt's gonna come in, and Kaiser, the Lord and Savior, to secure that kill.
Wilhelm Kaiser.
Just Emperor Kaiser's so good, but I feel like we could do more. There's another level to this, another evolution to his tag.
The Galactic Emperor. Galactic Emperor. Already Stitch, though, shutting down Yaki. That's the damage-boosted body shots. The Widowmaker able to delete 150 HP heroes. And now, again, another halt. Stitch, he's just playing this so far back, and why not? He just chunks down the tanks, and then you have Haksal and Janu there to finish them off.
That's why Widow's so strong on this part, is because it's so big, it's so wide, and it's so open that you can stay so far away from your team that even diving you, especially without a Lucio, is near impossible. Haksal's waiting a blade here. He's just 100% waiting to go in with his blade. And you can see that with the addition of Stitch playing there, it allows Bumper to just dash back to him.
Yeah, now we do have the Supercharger out for Kaiser now, but Haksal, he gets kited away. It's only going to be the 1-for-1 exchange as Bianca goes down, but now Kaiser finds a second kill onto Kuki, and Fuse doesn't want to come in for this res.
Oh, Johnny looking for the chase, and Fuse.
He can't come in for this res.
Oh, he
Never mind, he gets in, yeah.
Gets in, gets out. Gets the res, Transcendence there to follow up with. He's actually going to stay alive. He almost has his Valkyrie too. Then with 50 seconds left, they need this fight. They need some sort of momentum. Counter Trance out of Cox to keep them healthy as John is looking for the 1v1 against Kuki, who has Primal Rage. But with Undine and Fuse both dead, they're going to have to back away. And Stitch, most importantly, killing Fuse before that Valkyrie did come online.
I am immensely impressed by Stitch's performance today. We've seen him 99% of the time, well, maybe closer to 95% of the time on Tracer throughout his career. Now he's ending on Widowmaker. The McCree, the hook comes in. They got the res onto Hoxal. Fuse brings Kuki back into full 6v6 once again. Fuse has used that Valkyrie. Now he has a secondary res, but it's the Blade. It's going to be Otto that gets the best of Hoxal.
Oh, Stitch gets Otto down to in the midst of the Blade. That's the second time the res isn't going to be there. For Hoxal, it looks like with Fuse to get Otto alive, he does have his Valkyrie popped, and it looks like they will finally be able to cross the threshold of this first point. Again, barring a Cloud9, they should be able to do it here, and there should be no chance Runaway is going to go for a contest.
Sorry, I had to do that there towards the
True,
end.
it's true.
It was, yeah. But now,
Not
as we
once,
move
but
it to
twice
second,
they did it.
Twice in a row. Looking across at the ultimates, it looks like MVP, or excuse me, yeah, MVP will have the power advantage. They've got the Pulse Bomb along with that Transcendence to fight with, but Kuki drops low already on the initial engagement here. Does have Fuse there to top him off, and Stitch getting caught as soon as he hits the ground by Otto.
Yeah, the Orisa Roadhog comp is not going to work well on this point. I mean, you don't have the mobility you need. You're locked to this location when you're Orisa. You need the D.Va and the Roadhog, or you need the Winston in there. And Otto's just getting these reset dashes over and over again. Almost another Blade ready to go. Used it right before they took that first point. Transcendence being used out of Cox, and Runaway are slowly starting to lose these fights. They're slowly starting to get the momentum shifted against them.
Yeah. Hoxal was able to get a kill onto Undine, but instantly rezzed back on in. Cox trying his best to keep this alive. He did have to use that Transcendence into the last fight. They didn't get much off of it now. The Transcendence is going to be used by Undine. The point's still being contested, and at this point, it feels like Runaway are just trying to burn down this clock on the side of MVP.
Yeah, I still don't like the composition. They're using Bumper, using the Valkyrie to get the reses back in. They get a second one onto Cox, so they have their Zen back, but the healers are nowhere near the rest of his team. Hoxal with the Blade. He's ready to go, but he's in towards spawn. He has to come back, and Otto is waiting with his own Blade. Spots Hoxal out, and the Blade has come out.
Hoxal getting the best of Kuki here with that first Blade now. Gonna get the D-Mech and kill onto Bianca with the help of Kaiser. Just that last kill taking out Yaki. Now it's coming down to possibly the last fight for MVP space. They're down to 45 seconds here. They have so many ultimates at their disposal.
Yeah, I think that's why Otto actually held his Blade. Once Hoxal got the initial kill onto Kuki, it's like, all right, save ultimates. Let's just get this push. They don't need to complete the map, keep in mind.
Yeah.
So they have to get around towards that final bend to put a map on the board here against Runaway. And with the Blade ready to go, he's waiting for his opportunity to just go completely in. Cox is about to have his Transcendence, so the window he has to fight with is slowly closing, and Cox gets it up in the nick of time!
But they were able to kill Bumper there, so no res now. It's a full 5v6 as Otto finds a second kill. Stitch with the Pulse Bomb takes out Undine, but they do have Fuse still alive, ready to res them back on in. No one there to contest onto the points. They will clean him up just in the nick of time. MVP secures second.
Cox almost held that one. He hit Kuki as he was jumping in, which got his trance in the nick of time, but once they lost Bumper, they knew that was going to be a lost fight. There's no way they can contest when Fuse has his own Valkyrie. And here we go, Jamerson. 1 minute and 20 seconds left to get around that entire bend, to take a map off Runaway and extend the series. Can they do it?
3-0 now in favor of Runaway. Runaway, two-time grand finalists in Apex, facing off against MVP Space, who haven't found as much success. But they're looking to change their favors here. As Hoxal charging on in, he's almost got the Blade. He's at 93 HP. He does have to be careful. They do run down Undine. The reses are there, but Bumper goes down now. Now it is still the man advantage for Runaway, as Fuse is able to bring Kuki back into this.
Dune, he actually came back in through spawn, so we're going to see Kuki die twice. Once to self-destruct, but they're still picking up kills. Hoxal's still sitting behind them with the Blade. If he can kill Undine or force to use a trance before he actually gets back with his team, this could be really good.
No, it's fine, because during that engagement, there was no one on the payload. So it wasn't being moved, it was actually rolling back at one point. So they know they just need to play the time here, force out ultimates, but it's going to be 3 that come online on the side of MVP Space. Now they will have the Transcendence coming out from both sides, but it's going to be Bumper who should have that Valkyrie for this next fight.
But Undine, he needs to be careful. They need to not let him get low. If he uses his trance too early when Hoxal has Blade, He's going to slice through the hopes of MVP space to move on into this tournament.
Oh, they dive right onto Fuse. He's out. The res is gone. The Transcendence now used from both sides as Otto comes in with the blade. He spots one out. Does he have the damage? Picks up one onto Cox, but we have Bumper falling also, so no res is out from either side. The Deadeye now used by Stitch here as gets the fan. The hammer takes out Undine. Now Fuse trying his best. He swapped off onto Lucio to try to get back here in time, but Stitch is trying to delay for as long as possible.
And they're still picking up kills though. Kuki and Fuse together. The two-man team as Bianca's there with the self-destruct. I think they might be able to do it. The self-destruct can be thrown down the bubble. It will not, or it will be there to protect him in time. Cox is able to turn one kill around onto Bianca before he gets the Risu back in, but MVP Space are trying to hold on.
They just lost 2 members though. They are running out of bodies. Undine tries to answer back with that Helix Rocket kill. They might have just done it now. Janu falls, gets the DMAC, and it's gonna be Otto. No one able to make it onto the point, and now we have a map number 5. We do not have a closeout coming up from Runaway.
It will be a 4-0 today as MVP Space have fought back. But considering this is a map that they should have way more practice on than Runaway, that was still insanely close. Cox will, of course, get the play of the game. Doesn't he get the play of the game? I guess when Bumper's still the healing Temple of Anubis.
Yeah.
Space, yeah. I mean, even though they did win, it didn't look like the Space we saw last week still, and it still did not look comfortable for them. At some points, I thought they were almost giving up on that first point when they struggled.
Now, some signs of life, though, coming out from MVP Space, as we're going to be moving on to a map number 5. And
it's Runaway's choosing, most importantly.
It's Runaway's choosing. I feel like they could have pulled out Stitch on the McCree a little bit sooner here, but we'll find out where they decide to take it for map number 5 shortly after this break. Don't go anywhere, guys. We have more APAC Premiere after this.
Weston，侦测到入侵者。
好了，阿西娜。
我带领守望先锋奋战了20年，人们曾经视我为英雄，那真是一段美好的日子，美好而短暂。
人们认为没有我们，他们的生活会更好。他们甚至把我们当作罪犯。
你为什么要这么做？
他们摧毁了我们这个大家庭。
风云再度变幻，是时候做出选择了。
但是你们看看，现在必须有人站出来，我们必须站出来。
找到什么了？又来捣蛋了吗，亲爱的？
没那么容易。
我们可以再次改变这个世界，这个世界比以往更加需要我们。你们来不来？
And the MVP of Junkertown goes to Otto. He was holding his own. Genji up against Haksal. That's a tall task, to say the least.
Yeah, they got a lot of good timings to kill Haksal mid-blade. Like some really good dashes. There was one that was on second point defense where he dashed directly through Haksal right as he pulled out the blade, forcing the consumption of that ultimate and the mitigation of it completely and the damage that it could do. And these dash resets, something Genji mains live for.
Yeah. No, it looks like he wanted to take that Genji versus Genji to try and shut down Haksal himself. And, you know, why not? Especially if you can play that 2v1, you know, work with Kuki to try and get rid of Haksal, especially when Haksal is such a huge win condition on the side of Runaway.
It's a little trippy there. The screen shows itself multiple times. Yeah, I mean, take Haksal out of the fight. Not that Stitch was playing bad or anything, but that's just the nature of a Genji, right? A lot more explosive in terms of how it works. MVP is talking some things over. There's not one fact coming back in. Potentially. No, it's still Otto and Yaki sticking together, so just getting those headphones back on. Just wondering if there was a little bit of a delay coming in for MVP. So we do get to move on to Runaway's choice. And we can play, what, one more Assault?
One more Assault, yeah. We still have Horizon and Hanamura there. And then I guess Hybrid. So either... Did we play Hybrid yet?
Yeah, Kings Row.
Kings Row, that's
First
right.
map.
That's right. Okay, that was the first map. So yeah, it would either be Numbani or Hollywood or Horizon. That's up for us, so. And Hanamura.
And then still potentially Escort if they want to go that route.
That
Only
would be
did
map number
Junkertown.
6, yeah.
Well, it could be this map. Or no, you can't do it twice in a row, right?
You can't do it twice in a row.
The way the rules work. So we'll be probably going to, well, I can already see what it is, so I'm going to just probably spoil it. Can we spoil it?
You can spoil
we do
it.
it together?
Go ahead.
3, 2, 1.
Numbani.
All right, I thought you were actually leaving. I thought you were hanging out to dry there.
The thing is, that's kind of scary, right? That we're seeing Numbani, because we've already seen the Torbrisa coming out from the side of Runaway without much of an answer on the side of MVP Space on how to really deal with that.
Yeah.
So I like that pick coming out from them. Like, is MVP Space going to be able to adapt to this?
I mean, I think there's some weight off their shoulders. Finally have to pick up that victory.
Okay.
I think they got a little bit lucky that Runaway hasn't played that map that much. I think that's kind of like the consensus we should have, is that they didn't look as strong as that map as they
Well, it was like
had
when
previously.
Junkertown first came out, right? It's kind of that area.
Yeah, it's probably like one of the first, well, this is the first time competitively they're playing it on the tournament stage, but probably one of the, less than 10 times they've played it over the last few days. Easy less than 10, where MVP Space have had a lot of time to prepare for that map. So that was definitely, you know, a good job for MVP to pick the map, to realize that was their advantage. But now, again, if they want to claw their way back into this series and to potentially make it through to the semifinals in 2 days' time, they have to win on Runaway's map choice every single time from now on.
Yeah. I believe...
Except the 7th map, which would be Legion Tower, if I believe.
I'm trying to remember this. This is so hard for me to try and pull back, but I think this is where, on Numbani, where Runaway got the full hold up against Lunatic High in that Grand Finals matchup.
I've seen so many VODs over the last 2 weeks, I could not tell you. I've seen so many games, so many hours of Overwatch. It's hard for me to remember one in particular. But Runaway have, if anything, the potential to do that, right? The potential to hold first point onto Numbani. As we can see them still ready to go. Their fans still out here. I mean, who isn't a fan of Runaway? Like, it's insane how many fans they have and how dedicated they are.
I love you.
You could recreate it.
Is that on him, yeah?
Oh, yeah, that's the only
Korean
word I learned.
I was saying it to you, by the way. And then you just completely rebuked me, Jason.
No.
Thank you. Okay.
I had a Korean
love
ex-girlfriend. That's the only Korean that I learned, though.
Really? Not even like kimchi, tteokbokki?
I mean, that's just food. That is. Nice try.
That's the extent of my Korean, by the way, so, yeah.
It's food related.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, most of my German is like, yeah, I'm Big Mac Menü bitte.
Exactly.
It's like getting a Big Mac at McDonald's. But yeah, so coming into this, depending on who attacks or defends first. I feel like if you're MVP, you almost want to defend first.
Yeah.
Because if you attack and fail first point, it just puts so much pressure on you. So obviously with Runaway's choice of map, they get to choose side. But this is going to be tough. I mean, Tizzy's coming in actually for Kaiser. So I was thinking about this because I remember when Kaiser was playing for Cloud9 and Zephyr was on the team over at TakeOver 2. This is one of the maps that were kind of like a little bit weak on because of Kaiser's inexperience on Winston. But Zephyr was ridiculous at D.Va, so it was okay. So I'm bringing this man in. And I remember watching, you know, the Apex, I had to watch the VOD, I couldn't watch it live since we were casting.
Yeah.
And Tizzy looked really upset. On Eichenwalde, when he jumped up really high in the air, when he was the only one touching the point, and it threw it into the completion of the series, he looked very sad himself. But Kaiser came in the, yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
That map was over. He was the only one left. He was probably Winston. It was just over.
Well, I mean, you heard it though. I mean, that's the last thing you're gonna see. So
yeah.
People be like, oh, he messed it up. But anyways, Kaiser comes into the booth. First thing he does, goes straight to Tizzy. You know, puts his hand on his shoulder, and he, you know, consoles him. And obviously a strong bond between these two. But this is gonna be interesting. And Tizzy, I mean, if MVP Space are already struggling with Kaiser playing Winston, think how hard it's gonna be for Otto to play Genji against Tizzy on Winston.
Well, can Tizzy play the Orisa is also what I'm wondering.
I mean, you put your shield down and you're good to go, right? Is that how she works?
No, you can go for the high APM combinations. I remember seeing a video.
Oh, yeah, on Reddit?
On Reddit, yeah.
I don't think that's going to make her viable, like completely viable, is by hitting your combo quicker.
But I imagine TZ can pull it out for them, but yeah, just the strength of having his Winston on there. He works so well with Stitch that you see. That's why you see TZ and Stitch actually sit next to each other most of the time, because they do actually communicate, and you'll see them go for the same dive targets, while Hoxal is able to just play lone wolf.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of when we were watching VODs yesterday here during rehearsals and seeing Tizzy sitting next to Stitch. Just like the size difference
They're different
is hilarious.
sizes.
Yeah.
They're drastically different sizes.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
There we go. Runaway on the attack, and we're going to see MVP Space switch things up.
Triple DPS, though, coming out from the offense here as they're running the Torbrissa on the defense. But still, this is actually a composition that I think can break it. The triple DPS, the Genji, the Tracer, along with that bar, they instantly go in for the dive. The Fortify is there to try and body block, but the turret will ultimately fall.
Yeah, so they're actually going to dislodge from that spot, and already the HP on Kuki is still very low. But then again, so is Runaway. Only solo healer Bumper has a lot of work to do. Hawks will have to depend on some health packs. Instead, he goes back in directly into the turret and does fall. MVP initially getting the hold.
He's going to get the res back onto Hawks.
Oh, that's
They lose Stitch there. That's a great predicted Helix Rocket coming out from Yaki, taking him out. And so, back to the drawing board for Runaway.
So what's so dangerous about this S-Bend, the snake that they're in, is that if they get clumped up and get dashed through, that's so much damage.
Otto's going to fall. All this poke damage coming out from Cogs now is going to force out the res. They have the Valkyrie on the side of Fuse here. Undine doesn't have that Molten Core quite yet. He is building up to it as they're still waiting. They've lost 2 members on the side of Runaway, and they have to reset.
They're dislodging from the high ground, though, most importantly. Runaway still with Cox attacking as best he can against Yaki. Still really far push up, but he has a healing out of Bumper, who's going to have Valkyrie too. So they have Barrage, they have Valkyrie, they have Blade coming into us, and a Blade again into S-Bend or into Snake. Good luck surviving that summon you don't have a Zenyatta.
So they're going to have the Molten Core, but they did force out the Valkyrie
from Fuse,
which is huge. That's a double res gone now. Cox! Oh, instantly getting res as he had the deflected barrage back into his face. It's a 6v6 and the Molten Core is out for Infinite.
Why did they core? I didn't see anyone dive him. Was that preemptive? I don't know what that was. I mean, that's going to be really good for the side of Runaway now because they don't have to worry about that. That means Hoxal can go in with his Blade.
Yeah, and so the Tactical Visor now is going to be used as Hoxal has his Blade. He's picked up a kill already onto Undine, and now into the middle of the entirety of them. Gets a double kill off of Undine and Fuse, and with that, it's going to be Runaway breaking the defense of MVP Space.
Well, these stagger kills too out of MVP Space. If Otto can't escape, he needs to get away. He's going to have that healing out of Undine, so he'll be fine. The Runaway can push up aggressively with Cox, Stitch, and Hoxal. John is just going to kill himself with a remech. And they can control a lot of position here, most importantly, because they have to come in from the long spawn.
Yeah. And then this is also the issue that you run into when you do try to run that kind of cheese composition. I don't want to call it cheese anymore because I would say it's a valid defensive strat, but Kuki has to swap off onto Winston, Undine has to swap off onto Zenyatta, and that resets their ultimate counter, leaving them very weak.
Otto has Blade, though, so if anything, he can buy time for them to build up other ultimates. That post-bomb out of Stitch will unfortunately misses. Dana does escape away from that one, and they're already on top of the point, considering Runaway do have some ultimates to use. Yeah, I mean, the self-destruct, but they're going to have Bumper's Valkyrie in a second. They could easily push this one back, but here's the Blade.
Right on top of Zenyatta with the booster rocket kill. Cox will fall, but that's going to be the double res on out. Fuse has the Valkyrie himself now, bringing back Kuki. So, It's going to be a full 6v6 once again, but it's Haksal with the blade, cleaning up Bianca now. He's going to get topped off once again as he tries to battle up against Otto, but he will be able to back away to safety.
There's no way he's going to kill Otto there when he's being healed by his Zen and his Mercy. But again, Yaki might be an opportunity for him. Does have Pulse Bomb up. And Runaway have run out of a lot of ultimates. They do have a chance. They have a Primal Rage coming up, and MVP Space should have an opportunity to contest it. That's going to be Kuki going in, and he'll at least throw it into this contestation phase. But how long can they hold this?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to. Fuse has to fall there. They're just going to have to reset. I mean, they bring back Kuki just for that respawn, just to be able to stall it out here, but at this point, now you're just wasting CD into this.
I mean, as long as they don't use any of the ultimates, they should be okay. But MVP Space have nothing. They're finally going to get the Primal Rage up after Kuki, switching from Orisa over to Winston, as you pointed out before. And Runaway have 3 ultimates to use. The snowball effect needs to be held off, and I'm a little bit sad to not see like any Genji out of MVP Space. I still feel like Genji, or sorry, not Genji, McCree could be very strong against this kind of throw Stitch, throw Spanner in his works. Blade ready to go for Haksal, and Blade going in.
Yep, takes to the skies, he's in the back line. Fuse is the first one to go down. Deflect isn't going to be enough as Otto will ultimately fall. Spawn caps coming out as Yaki answers back, but this payload's still getting moved now. They've got the res here as Bianca will get demacked. Now they do take out Bumper, but still, it's largely just Runaway. Primal Rage now being used as Kuki tries to keep this alive, but he's getting melted.
Yeah, Space was so split. Their tanks were forward, their DPS and supports were back, and they got split off from each other, allowing Runaway to just take them out. But Undine is finally able to respond with a kill onto Stitch. They've been able to stall this one out, and they've been able to hold on longer. And most importantly, now build up ultimates. I mean, they have 3 minutes of time to work through.
Yeah.
But they're going to need every ultimate, and they're going to need to use it in the correct order. Correct order of operations, I believe it's been coined.
MDS.
Yeah. God, I haven't heard that term in forever. But Otto has Blade, and Cox doesn't have Trance, but he's so close to it that there's no way they run into that.
Fuse. He was the recipient of that orb. Got taken out, and now the res does come out, but it's going to be the Blade for Otto, taking out Haksal. Finds the second one, Janu will fall as Bumper tries to bring them back into this. With that double res, now they push forward with the Valkyrie. Is Kuki caught off guard here? The Transcendence can be used now to fight back into this new MVP Space.
So smart, because Runaway aren't looking to actually win the map off this. They're just trying to throw out every ultimate that MVP Space has, because they're trying to make them worry about maintaining this point, but they might be able to do it nonetheless. 3 quick kills come in for the side of Runaway, and MVP Space are running out of men.
Yeah, they might be able to jump on it with this Tracer, as we do have Yaki on there. He's got some healing with Undine, but Undine will fall next, and with that, one last attempt at a stall coming out as Bianca will fall. There's the res, though, from Fuse, who instantly gets bursted down. It's just a matter of time. Maybe this Primal Rage could do something, anything. Undine himself has swapped off onto May to try to even stall this out even further.
It's still going to be tough, though. They're able to get the ice block on top of the point. They're trying to trail out one by one, but no, they get there too late. Fuse even switching to Lucio was not enough to get them back to the point. And Runaway have finished with 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, being so important for them, considering that because they finished over a minute left, if MVP Space finish in overtime, they won't have a second chance to attack.
Yep, they will not, and so Runaway put themselves in a very great position, unenviable really now. They're sitting poised to walk away and move on to the semifinals to meet up against Miraculous Youngster this Saturday.
That would be one hell of a match too, I'd say. We've already seen what MY could do against Lunatic High, but now a chance for them to go up against Runaway, you know, second Korean team for themselves. Obviously they played against Korea in the past, in other cups like Nexus Cup Spring and the likes of that, but not in their current forms. And
well, that would be actually, oh, I can't remember the name of the tournament, but before OWPS Summer. That's where MY defeated Runaway twice, I believe. And so we might get that rematch.
Maybe. It would be good. There's no shortage of good games coming up today and tomorrow and over the next 3 days. But Space, they need to do something about this. They know the time they have to beat. They know they need to finish with at least a millisecond on the clock. But hopefully for them, they can finish with more than that, as they're going to be running, again, standard dive. It's the comp we expected out of them with Otto on the team. With one fact, there's a little bit more flexibility in Runaway on the defense, running the Orisa and the Torbjorn again. Pretty much set up the exact same way that MVP Space did.
Yeah, this is the exact same composition actually.
Try to show him, no, Haksal, put it here.
No, there was a Genji on the defense instead of the Tracer, I believe.
Yeah, Otto doesn't play much
Yeah.
besides Genji from what we've seen.
So just standard 2-2-2 dive now coming up for MVP. Runaway's attack, they had Cox on that Pharah for triple DPS. They went for the solo heal. Now will they have enough healing to be able to burst through this defense?
Oh no. So Yaki's trying to flank around S, but Stitch already has his number. He knows exactly where he is. And he's been able to sneak through, but he's been trapped. He's gonna have his recall, but Stitch is probably just gonna be able to turn around and force it back. But initially, Haksall's gonna be the first one to fall. Otto is able to just get some slashing in from behind them, eventually finished off by Cox.
Oh, Stitch dropped down to 4 HP, and you saw Yaki wanted that frag, but he had the heals there. He had the body blocking there. Recall actually wins the battle up against him. That opens up a huge window of opportunity as Bumper. He's already used his res. He's gonna be another few seconds before he gets the next one up.
They've already captured a third of the point too. Turrets can't seem to stay down for Haksall, though he does have Molten Core up, so if he places it somewhere else, if he gets this off, which he does use the Molten Core, trying to get the tier 2 turret, but they keep attacking, so it's not full HP. He's not able to get this one transition. The post bomb will land.
But Cox is here with that tactical visor, picks up 3 off of that fuse, gets the resurrect onto Otto as Cox is trying his best. He's living the Matrix, he's got the health there now, as Bianca is gonna get focused down as he jumps into the middle. It is the Valkyrie being used. It's gonna dissipate very shortly.
But Bumper still has his up, so he's not committed. We also have Tizzy, the supercharger ready to go. Stitch has fallen, yes, but he's Trace, so he'll get back extremely quickly. Both the blade out of MVP Space, this is all they need to shut this down. Knowing that there's no Torbjorn anymore, this should be easy kills for this man.
They're gonna res back into this now as Otto takes out Haksall. We'll see Bumper has used that Valkyrie form to bring Haksall back. The supercharger now gone as Kuki was able to chase down Cox, but still, Bumper, he's got that secondary res. TZ back into this for the 3rd time now. Stitch, he's got the pulse bomb. He's looking to get the DMAC and finish them off. Self-destruct, though, will be used by Bianca.
This fight's dragging on for such a long time. Only 2 minutes left to go, and if MVP Space don't take it on this go with how much time they've committed to this push, they're gonna be looking very bad coming into the rest of the attacking half. Stitch pretty much by himself, though. We'll have Cox off towards the side, I believe, and a blade gonna be forced out of Otto to try to finally finish off the rest of the Runaway members so they can capture this point.
Stitch is still alive. He can come in, but no, he won't. So they force them back. 4 minutes now left on the clock of MVP as they move towards the 2nd. Stitch somehow still alive throughout all of this.
And Cox switched Zen too. I don't know if he got the early respawn or the really bad respawn for him to join his team. Looks like he got the bad one since he's only at 3% ultimate. But Runaway's going to have a relatively early contest here, especially knowing that Otto had to use his blade in that last fight. And Haksall's about to have his up.
Yaki on this Tracer. Peppering away at the members, but it's going to be the blade now. Haksall instantly on top of both supports. That's already a triple kill coming out from him. And this is what I was talking about this man here, Haksall. He's just so good at farming the blade, and then once he gets the blade, he's one of the most consistent Genjis I've seen with it.
So there's no nano boost to give him, but hey, they give him the blue beam at a Bumper.
Yeah.
It's gonna try to assist him. Something Afrika Freaks, which you'll see tomorrow. Something they do quite a bit for Arhan.
Yeah.
Actually keep alive and make him really deadly. Stitch trying to buy some extra time. As long as Runaway keep fighting on the point, like as long as they stall this out as long as they can, and MVP Space is still able to finish, they're gonna finish in overtime. And Runaway still will be the only team with another chance to attack.
And that's one of the biggest strengths about this composition. Well, the dive is there, Undina goes down, Fuse will fall also. That's both supports, and that is this fight over. But this dive composition is used really well to just stall out the point. It's just one of the biggest strengths of it.
And Space are really struggling to figure out an answer, figure out a response to this. They do have a blade up. They should know Cox doesn't have trance, so I guess that's their opportunity. But even then, to invest it into one man to really open up the point and to open up the transition in the 2nd phase is never ideal.
Stitch?
The fact that Stitch gets in and gets out like that so many times in a row, they're not able to punish him.
It's gonna be Otto this time with the blade, though, as he gets himself into position. 4 ultimates online now for MVP Space. There's only the 2. Transcendence coming up very shortly here. They've got to pop it now, but no, instead, they get Cox down. He is going to get res instantly here. Jadu gets D-Macked. Undine has fallen on the opposite end, though, so it's a 6v5. Make that a 6v6 as the res has come on in. Nice self-destruct. Will take Haksall out of this equation.
Bumper's going to get a res on the Haksall. Blade still not being used by Otto as he gets res back up. Cox has fallen right after Transcendence. Now Otto could easily unleash this Blade to transition into a point take. And they're sure as hell going to need it. Minute 30 left to go. And Tizzy's just trying to stall as long as he can.
Yeah, hides back, jumps back in. It's the Pulse Bomb coming out from Stitch that takes out Undine. Does Fuse have that res? We don't know. Hoxall does have the Blade though, and it's gonna be Otto. He's been on Hoxall duty time and time again. He took out both Bumper and his opposite counterpart. With that, MVP, they'll continue to push this payload forward.
Yeah, I think they should be able to get the point. Just about if they've accrued enough time to finish with any time left. I cannot stress how important it is to finish with just that second left on the board. You need that time to attack again. Oh my lord, again. Nice little reflect out of Otto, almost, or not reflect, there's just the pure damage of the shurikens, able to almost get the kill on the Cox.
Now Hoxall actually swapping off. He's gonna go on to the Soldier 76 here. We'll see how much poke he can actually get off with it. As Kuki tries to go in for that dive. He does have the damage boost. Kuki jumps onto Bumper, takes him out of the equation. That's a great way to start this first fight. 3 quick kills going on over. Self-destruct along the frag onto Kuki as Fuse does bring Otto back into this fight, but still, it's largely the man advantage for MVP as they're cleaning up Runaway. A minute 50 seconds left on the clock.
And what does Runaway have to stall with? No ultimates. They don't have a Primal Rage. They don't have a Transcendence. They don't even have a Valkyrie here. And MVP Space are trying to hammer this home with a minute and 40 seconds left to go. A Pulse Bomb Matayaki can shut them coming around this corner. It will be not eaten, but it still won't get anything as Bumper's gonna get the res on a Tizzy to try to contest.
Bumper does fall for his efforts though as Otto is now getting focused down. The Transcendence is there as they double down. They want to complete out this map. They want to complete it out with time. As Otto now getting focused down. Tizzy jumping on top of him, but he does have that pocket mercy there. 3 members down on the side of Runaway. They have a great chance on the side of MVP to close this out.
They do. You can see Runaway trying to run around the corner, just trying to survive the payload. No one's there to contest it. They've done it. They finished with time remaining. Hell of a lot of it. 1 minute and 11 seconds. And we will get to see both teams go through a second attacking phase. And let's be honest, neither team looked
messy.
Looked immortal in their pushes.
It was definitely messy on the point A defenses and the offenses coming out from both ends. I don't want to say, yeah, it was not clean execution coming out from either, but I do tip it in favor of Runaway because they did have that extra damage coming out from the Pharah, and if she's able to position herself, as Cox is able to position himself well, we saw the kind of poke he could get off, even through threading the needle through the shield and through the doorway.
It's going to be tough, I think. I don't know if teams are going to run solo support, though, again, necessarily, like, as defense. But then again, I think Molten Core is, like, one of the few ultimates you can build up in 1 minute and 20 seconds, you know? 1 minute, 11 seconds.
Yeah.
And then if you ever get that off, it's like, all right, well, you're not going to win that fight.
Well, it's going to be important, right, for the side of MVP, if they're going to face off against that, to just break line of sight, approach in from lower, and then make their ways upstairs onto S, and then engage upon them there, instead of trying to engage through all that open air first, where the Torpedo Turret can get the free damage off.
And I think Yaki, he won a 1v1 against Stitch on that first point when they were attacking. It was like a big crucial turning point for how that match did go, or that point did go in particular. But here we go, MVP Space, minute 10 to go. And they need to capture and get some sort of progress. You have to get past that first third. But then again, Runaway only had 19 seconds more than they did.
Yeah. So it's the exact same defensive setup and the exact same offensive setup coming out from both sides. Here's MVP Space going for that double dive. Now we do have the Fortify on the Orisa. TZ able to keep himself healthy. The turret not falling quite yet. It's actually full health right now.
Yeah, he needed to dash into the entire team, I think, than rather dash towards them. But it doesn't matter. They're getting the kills nonetheless. It's not going to have a lot of HP to work with just yet, but he's trying to dash in and out. It has a mega health pack behind him, but won't have the time as Stitch gets the kill. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the dash out of Otto, because he had a dash to close the gap to help them with damage, but if he like walked in and then dashed through them, that would have been 50 damage to the entire team of Runaway.
I really do like this Torbrisa, the way they play it now. Teams are understanding how to do it. Before it was cheese, but now it's become a valid strat. Having that fortified Orisa right on top of it, soaking it up. Now we do have Yaki on the lurk. Doesn't have the pulse bomb, but he does spot out. He's gonna get spotted out himself, and he has to instantly fall back. The Demon coming out now. Bianca doesn't have it as he does fall. Molten Core is gonna get popped. Now Hoxall going full DPS mode on the hunt for that Mercy. Fuse will fall, and with that, it's gonna be the hold.
So they
up from Runaway.
Yeah, they won't get the third. And now Runaway have to try to get that third to close out this map.
Close out the series.
Yeah, and the series.
Yeah.
Move through into Saturday where the semifinals will kick off, where they would play against MY, though there is a chance. There is a chance, Jamerson, an MVP space hold defensively.
I mean, there's a chance. It's only a minute 30.
That means we go on to...
No, we re-pick, I believe.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think what's the last map, the pool from Hybrid.
Hollywood.
So we go to Hollywood then.
Yeah. Which we saw earlier today in the matchup between Blink and Miraculous Youngster.
Yeah, Trill had a good hog.
He did. He was MVP of that match.
Hear me right now?
No.
I'm looking at him.
Yeah, the back of his head.
Of course, Huss is no, that's RQT just Snapchatting pictures of us. Don't know why.
But now, this is the do or die moment for MVP Space. Running their defense, they're not going to try any of that Torbrisa at all. They're not comfortable with it. They're just going to go for the 2-2-2 dive. While Runaway are sitting on that triple DPS once again. Cox on the Pharah.
The Pharah is going to be so effective
There's
here.
no one to deal with him.
No one's going to kill Bumper. No one's going to kill Cox. I mean, Bumper's more likely to die than Cox since he has to get down to help heal other people, running solo support. But here we go, Runaway. Close out this third. You close out the match, and you get yourself through into the semifinals another time.
On collision course to meet up with MY once again. And they spot this out, do MVP. They see the rockets raining in. They have no answer for it. They're trying to break line of sight. Just buy as much time as possible. But the poke is there coming out. Concussive blast into body shot after body shot. The direct rockets coming in from Cox.
You get half progress with no one contesting it. MVP Space have to be so careful to come back in because Cox has a field day of just shooting. It's a shooting gallery for him down that road. And Bianca getting desuited. That's a big kill coming through. The Res has already been used out of Bumper, and Hoxel has gone down.
Oh, but take a look at all these rockets. TZ, he hears the call out. Bianca's low. He falls on top of him. Now they do get the remake, and they might have just dissuaded Runaway.
They almost have Valkyrie too, most importantly. Fuse at 96%. He's going to have it in the next fight. And Bumper's only at 70. They're going to have almost a barrage. And this is going to be tough. I think MVP Space could do this. Like, they're going to have easy an advantage. If they dive, if they attack like right away when Runaway gets around the corner, get like early pick, then you have this fight won.
There's a blade, there's a barrage. We'll see which wins out. Sword versus Rocket. But most importantly, it's the support ultimates. Transcendence almost online for Undine. Fuse, he's got that Valkyrie to get himself to safety there. This barrage comes out, but it's largely eaten up by that defense matrix, but Otto himself not able to find much at all with this blade. It's Bianca with the self-destruct taking Stitch out. It's going to be a 6v5 as the res does come out, but still, it's the res advantage for Fuse.
Bumper got the Valkyrie off though, and he got the two reses back in, and that's going to be a blade coming out of Hoxel. The initial kill is going to come through, and it's going to be Fuse going down, but Otto again has his number, has the kill another time, as Yaki's still trying to fight. Tizzy in that Promo Rage form just trying to stall for some extra time, but again, Cox has fallen.
Cox has fallen, and Bianca takes out Bumper. There's no one here left beyond Stitch, who will fall to Yaki. And so, we're going to extra innings. We're going to Hollywood.
The series isn't done just yet. Still a chance for MVP Space to come back. Hoxel not looking too pleased with the performance there, though we did get play of the game with Torbjorn. Yeah, MVP Space, like they didn't run the comp they did last time. There was no Torbjorn, and it worked for him. Even though Otto didn't get any kills with that blade, really. The one kill he did get was the one that mattered. The kill onto Hoxel when he was blading. This isn't the first time he's done that. I think it's like the third, fourth, if not fifth time he's been able to kill Hoxel mid-blade or just kill him outright.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is more what we were expecting at the top of the show. When we knew that it was going to be Runaway versus MVP Space, we were expecting them to go blow for blow, and, well, we got it.
We hoped. We definitely hoped. And we were a little disappointed off the get-go of the series when it was a quick 3-0 for Runaway. But we got there in the end, and maybe MVP Space are feeling more confident in themselves. So we make our way towards Hollywood, though, which should be the last map. We'll get 100% confirmation on that when we see the map come up or see it switch on our own screens. I don't know how that's going to go, actually.
Hollywood is still one of those maps where you can run the wonky, like, offensive solo supports, where maybe you just go for a Lucio instead and go for like full on all-out dive instead of like Runaway. MVP space, I feel like they'd go something more traditional, just go for the 2-2-2 dive on their offense. Now the defense is also another position where maybe we see another round of Torbjorn or Risa.
I wonder if we're going to see Merciless comp on defense
Yeah.
of like first point. Or maybe Merciless defense, or sorry, attack on first point Hollywood for like Runaway. Since Zen Lucio is really strong and their dive has been really powerful. Yeah, just want to get confirmation on the screen unless we're like skipping the map. No, okay, it is going to Hollywood.
Yeah,
All right,
we
we're
are
right
going
on that
Hollywood.
one. Yes, we did the rule reading.
Yeah.
By we, I mean mostly you.
Mostly me.
Yeah.
But
So who
this
stood
happened
out
to
to you,
us
by the
before.
way?
Huh?
Who stood out to you most on both these rosters?
It's
'Cause I'm
still
thinking-
Otto. Like, I'm impressed by...
Okay, true.
Well, okay, so it's Otto and then the entirety of MVP because they understand that one of the win conditions on the side of Runaway is to allow Hawksall to just go crazy, right? That's just kind of Runaway's style, where they rely upon Hawksall to just come in with these blades and just make the huge plays. But Otto, he's been keeping track of him every single time. He knows exactly where he is at all times. You see him go for these flicks, instantly into a dash, and it's right into Hawksall every single time. His awareness of where Hawksall is, it's nuts. I don't know how he does it.
I think for me, besides Otto, if I was like to point out a player besides him, I'd say Undine, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like he's done a good job of just not getting picked off early in these fights. He's just done a good job of surviving, considering in this meta right now with D.Va's defense matrix change, it's really, really difficult to do that, to survive as a Zen player.
Yeah.
For Runaway, I actually don't know who to give it to on their side. I feel like everyone's been playing relatively well. I think Bumper, now thinking about it, when he got the MVP of Temple of Anubis, definitely deserved. He's been playing the Mercy for the most part, staying safe a lot. Again, really hard to do as supports. But and then you can even kind of give a shout out to Cox, who's been matching, transcendences with blades out of Otto to try to cancel them out or one fact earlier on.
And then also adding that third DPS threat on the lineup for Runaway. As he picked up that Pharaoh, we saw him play the Soldier 76, I believe, also on Anubis.
Played Reaper.
Yeah.
So a lot of different heroes out of that man. We are just loading up in a second into Hollywood, just to give you guys an idea what's going on. Since we did have a draw, which can happen, we play out another map of the same type.
Yeah, just as long as we're not going to play out Hollywood 3 times in a row.
This isn't APAC 2016, and it's not DreamHack winner. Oh, man. Doing Hollywood with Uber, I think it was like 5, 6, 7 times in a row because of complexity. Because of Sombra. And it was Sombra and May. There was like a weird interaction between the two.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I just remember every time Complexity played Sombra that I knew the stream would either crash or the server would crash.
I remember.
Yeah.
I was there. It was fun times. But that was one of the few times we got to see Sombra, like early on, one of the first times. So nice to see, teams like
She's fleshed herself out in terms of usage. I remember teams were just like, okay, Complexity just would try to run it on offense, right? Get that first hack off, and then they would go in for the EMP onto the Reinhardt, allowing their Reinhardt to just swing and go buck wild on them. But since then, the way that she's been utilized has been absolutely great to see. Route 66 defenses.
Seeing Tizzy and then the camera goes to Stitch, and it's just complete difference.
Well, it's also that Stitch sits really low in his chair.
Yeah.
And Tizzy's high in his chair.
Yeah.
Like the level of the chair.
Yeah. Like my chair's really low right now, and I think yours yours pretty medium.
Yeah.
I'm actually in a hole. I'm actually standing on the ground.
You're actually
We're
just
on an
standing.
elevated
We
stage,
are
but I'm
elevated,
standing and you're on the elevated stage.
Just cut a hole where you're supposed to be sitting, and you're just standing there. Yeah, MVP space. They are down 3-1 up against Runaway, and Runaway just looking to close the series out. But now they're running into the roadblock, and this is where I worry for Runaway, because as series goes on, that's where they tend to make a bit more mistakes, start to falter. Every time we go into these best-of-7 situations and we go into the championship rounds, there are a lot of mistakes that start coming out. So now, technically the 5th map, but realistically the 6th map in this matchup.
Oh man, what if we had draws on every map? Obviously you can't draw escort. What if we had draws on every map? So we're going into our 13th map, which is actually our 5th map in this series. Now Hollywood kicking off here. We're going to see how these teams are going to defend and, most importantly, attack out of both sides. I did not see who is attacking or defending just yet. But Runaway are still fighting.
I love that. I love that.
I want them to do it once for us.
Yeah.
Jason,
I don't really know how they run
Jason,
the chance.
Jamerson fighting, casting.
Casting. All right. So now it's going to be MVP space. Just going for that 2-2-2 dive, but Runaway. It's Stitch on the McCree. We got to see him play it earlier on Oasis. And along with King's Row. They're going to go in right to the back line, and they're right on top of Cox, who somehow survives. For now, he will fall. Bumper does have that res, bring him back into this. MVP, though, they've got the man advantage as Stitch has fallen.
MVP actually a strong start. The thing is, they need to finish off the rest of these kills. A lot of damage coming out of Otto at 80% on his Dragon Blade. The capture's going to come in as well. Are they going to test? No, Runaway giving this up, and they need to back away as quick as they can. If they get picked off here, this stagger's going to be real. But Kuki actually being very careful, not jumping in too deep just yet. He doesn't want to get caught out.
So now Otto is the one that's worked his way up to a Blade. Hogsall only sitting at 80% now, but he should have it very shortly. A lot of ultimates starting to come online. So we move on to Streets phase of of Hollywood.
Bianca going to be diving in directly towards the back with Otto there too. Again, Valkyrie has been popped out of Bumper again, actually very, very quickly, but he gets felled, and Otto picks himself up 3 kills within that Blade. Not bad out of him, and they should be able to continue the progression. Look at the amount of ultimates MVP has on top of this too.
Runaway, excuse me. Bumper used his Valkyrie in there, but he didn't have a secondary res target, so he didn't get full value off of it. I think he was just using it to get that extra verticality to try and get away from the dive that's coming up from MVP. Now MVP are sitting in a great spot. This is how you just, continue a snowball off of it. They've got 5 ultimates up for this next attack.
And the only big playmaking ultimate that Runaway has, a Stitch switch from McCree over to Soldier, is this Blade out of Hogsall. But he's going to be blading directly into a Transcendence, followed up by a Valkyrie. Stitch actually already being pressured right off the bat. Very low HP. The pulse bomb has been thrown down, and he has been cleaned up. And Bumper is somehow surviving this with the self-destruct going off.
Blade comes out as Hogsall tried to go after Fuse, but Fuse was able to fly away to safety with that Valkyrie form. Hogsall will ultimately fall. Now the res comes out from Fuse to bring Yaki back into this. It's a 6v4 as Tizzy just drops. Here's a self-destruct just to zone everyone off the point. Stitch trying his best to stay alive, but he will fall to the tall mech of Bianca.
MVP space, this is such a quick pace. 5.5 minutes left for them. They didn't get stalled on second. They didn't get stalled on first. Runaway have to put a stall up on third. No Ana going to be coming in for them anytime soon, it seems, as they're sticking to the Mercy and the Zen. They've been sticking a lot to the Mercy now. After the initial maps when we did get to see some Lucio and some Zenyatta.
Yeah.
Maybe warming up to it. Maybe feeling like they need to run it against another Mercy.
They're not going to be running the Reinhardt Zarya, really, right?
Like, here's not bad for it. I mean, obviously Tizzy's not going to be around the Reinhardt if you want Kaiser in for it, but...
So they can't show that off here already, though. Otto starting it off, taking down his counterpart, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Saving those dashes for the Genji 1v1 battles. Now, the Tactical Visor comes out from Stitch, but they're only going to allow them to get the res onto Hogsall with that zoning ultimate.
Covering the fire.
Exactly.
He's actually very low in health. Gets a kill on the Kuki, though. Discord sit on top of it for the most part. Otto gets a kill onto Cox, who's about to have his Transcendence, so Otto has to be very careful with the timing of his Blade here. Kuki popping that Primal Rage. 4 minutes left of time to go, and they're actually right in the corner. They're getting so close to finishing this one off here. Runaway have not been able to put up any sort of defense. MVP Space are still building up a lot of these ultimates, and Runaway, what is going on? They are struggling to hold.
Here's Blade out from Otto. First kill going on over. It's going to be Janu as he gets a secondary kill. Blade now out from Hogsall, but that's going to be into the Transcendence out from Unzine, keeping the entirety of his team healthy. And take a look.
Lord.
Look at the time bank left. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. MVP steamrolled through Hollywood.
Okay, I mean, come on, Kuki. You can give us more than that. I would be more than smiling if I were MVP Space now, considering how this series started off. They were down 0-3. Finally able to bring back a map on Junkertown. But now, looking at this, after tying things up on Nambani of having a draw happen, they smash through them here on Hollywood.
3 minutes and 50 seconds. That's
one of our quickest times.
Yeah. You don't really see that often on the defensive, and honestly, it was, I want to say, largely Otto. His Genji play, his coordination with Kuki and how they went in with those dives. They were so good about trying to either focus down Cox or focus down Hoxel every single time.
They really kept them desynced, I think.
Yeah.
They weren't able to like stabilize in a way that Cox could save his Transcendence for Otto's blades. He had to keep using Trances over and over because they needed to put a halt on this attack that MVP Space were doing. They weren't able to put that tourniquet over the bleed that was constantly happening. And I mean, that's just how it can kind of go sometimes, you know? If they start to snowball against you and you don't have a response, you don't have that big ult buildup, that big bank across the team, and an economy crashes, and you're going to have maps like that happen, or halves like that happen, I guess.
Now look, MVP Space on their defense. They're going to be running the Torb Risa. Solo heal out from Fuse. So we'll see if Runaway are prepared for this. Maybe at the spot of, at the site of it, Cox runs back to spawn, goes for that Pharaoh once again.
Maybe. They, again, have a lot of time to actually make some changes, but if they want to be able to match the time MVP Space put up, they're going to have some really clean transitions from first and second, not to mention just capturing that first point alone.
Oh yeah, MVP Space got it on their first attack.
I think a lot of pressure is going to come onto this man here, Stitch, on the Tracer. So you can already see Yaki just waiting for him.
Yeah, he knew that he was going to be coming from that angle and was just right there to zone him out. Bianca, and Risa has the high ground. Be very difficult to break.
Yeah, that turret, it's... I don't even see the shield up.
It's up, I believe.
Did it fall down?
Did he miss?
I don't know. Actually, okay, from the other side, it actually is going to be there. Otto, though, still looking for 1v1 against Hoxel here.
Yeah, they got rid of that Torbjorn, so that's pretty important there. He was getting very close to that Molten Core now, but turret is still up, and it gets the kill credit, taking out Tizzy.
I feel like Stitch, like, he should be comfortable in this matchup against Yaki, the 1v1. Like, something that happened a lot during the mattress GC we saw him was him and Prophet. Like, Prophet was always waiting for him around corners. Something that, you know, he should be used to. Bianca going to be healed up here, and his Fuse just going to use him to get on the high ground again. How are you going to dislodge not only the turret, not only Bianca, but Fuse up there?
Instead, they try to rush him to the right-hand side, break that line of sight. They do lose Kuki, but he instantly gets rezzed back into this as Bianca gets the D-Mech up to Janu, but Otto is down. Undine is down. They have the man advantage here as Fuse is working his way towards that Valkyrie. He doesn't have a secondary res. Pulsebomb comes down. Kuki drops low. He will fall. There is the Valkyrie now. Only able to bring back Kuki. Another res should be up soon for Fuse though, but will they be able to use it correctly?
The turret's still there though, and Molten Core is going to be used, and Dine gets that one off, and getting the damage done. Hoxel's going to fall. Bianca trying to pull them back in the line of sight of the turret, which is just doing some serious work. That's going to be a subshot coming through, but the shield should be there. It'll protect it, but Undine still going to fall from it.
Yeah, Undine has fallen. Now they have dislodged that Orisa, but the blade is there as the turret is still doing work. Stitch not able to do much at all. And the defense coming up from MVP, they will stabilize, only giving up a third.
What do they do? What do they switch up? Stitch switch over to Soldier, spam the shield down a little bit more. They focus the shield. Thing is, that turret, yeah, about to say, like, Torbjorn's not there to heal it. So they can finish off that turret if they're able to spam down the shield quick enough. But I think Undine is actually going to be going up to that high ground to help keep it alive. Fuse doesn't have an armor pack, so very vulnerable if they're ever able to get up there. But Hoxel's having his blade now up. Look for an opportunity to use it.
Yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of disconnect coming out from the offense on the side of Runaway as we had the supports trying to make their way into the right-hand side and be able to find that flank into Cafe, while the rest of the members of Runaway just dove onto the point.
It's not the first time they've done that, too,
Yeah,
that
no,
they've gone that
not.
direction. It's not the first time they've lost that fight in that direction. Oh, it's going to be a blink pulse bomb in. Actually, no, Yaki didn't use it. Saving it for now. But they're going to have Molten Core. Yeah, exactly. So how are you going to kill it? You can't pulse bomb it. You have to get lucky on it coming. Actually, it's not even going to be coming down. You have to get lucky on the elevator to be there.
Yeah. And
really
this is
need an answer for it.
This is what I was really worried about. The Orisa really strong, the Torb Risa actually really strong coming out from the Korean region so far, and this is a strat that has been used. Pulse Bomb came out, Bianca already got the first kill onto Cox as the Molten Core comes out. Undine will ultimately fall, but the turret, the level 3 turret is still there. They're just biding time. 20 seconds left. They need to commit onto this very shortly.
I wonder if Fox is going to bleed it, try to get up there. Oh no, he misses the dash up. He's going to use it a second time. He's looking for the turret. He's looking for the Mercy. He's also, most importantly, looking for Bianca, who's just been a pest, a nuisance in their backside. 8 seconds left to go. They've been already able to capture halfway through this, but Fuse, he has the Valkyrie popped. He's getting them back in. Otto's back alive, and Otto has a blade.
There we go. Hawkstall finally takes out Bianca, but it's going to be a 6v5 now. Hawkstall still alive. It's Otto with the blade. He's jumped right on top of that Zenyatta. Both supports are down now. Bumper and Cox have fallen. They might have established their defense once again. Otto gets hunted down, but there's a self-destruct on the point. It's going to be Jano that picks up a kill onto Undine, and MVP Space might have just done it.
I don't know. MVP Space have run out of men and Runaway getting a couple of kills towards the end, have been able to finally capture this first point in a second in overtime. But that was a lot of time being off the clock, and that was so close for MVP Space. Finally, I think getting a good read and a good feel into Runaway in their comps and the way that they're playing. And also, I mean, to be fair, the Torbris ridiculously strong for them. But now Runaway, they're fighting against the clock. There's no way they can match the time that MVP Space put up. And I don't know what happens if we have a draw again, Jamerson.
It gets reset. The map pool gets reset.
All right, well, we'll see how that's going to work out. If we do get to that point, maybe going to King's Row again. But let's see, Stitch pulse bomb. And they don't have a blade just yet. Hawks is getting really close, though.
Yeah, Hawks now. There we go. Hawkstall able to take out his counterpart, and it's going to be 4 kills going over in favor of Runaway. As they clean up Undine, continue to push forward this payload. The issue here is that with the rate that they're pushing, if there's even one good stall coming out from the side of MVP Space, they basically complete this out in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, they'll complete second in overtime if they do get halted here.
Yeah.
But Undine, he doesn't have his Transcendence, so this blade out of Hawkstall should be good. He's just looking for the right opportunity to use it. Has been able to spot out Fuse. He's feeling confident to get the clean kill.
Look, it's going to be the sound barrier out now. Barriers plus blades is pretty darn good as Undine gets the first frag, or gets fragged first. As Hawkstall now getting focused down. Going to be a trade exchange. 1-for-1. Fuse is there with that res. Bring back into this. Self-destruct. Otto showing off his chops quite literally on that Genji now. MVP Space. They might have established their defense here.
Showing his geometry. He's not on Hanzo, but he's on the brother. Gets those kills so timed perfectly to shut down Johnny before any sort of remake, and they've been able to hold them again on second point, and they've held them to the favored side of MVP Space on the map. Reinforced is going to be a lot quicker to get in than for Runaway, and looking into their final push here, we could see MVP Space take the map off of this attack alone, or off this defense alone. And what does Runaway have? No Sound Barrier, no Transcendence. All they're going to have is this Primal Rage at a Tizzy.
Primal Rage, it can be used to stall, but not enough. Cox, he's sitting at 14%. Bumper's at 46. They don't have a res, so they're essentially fighting into a 7v6 unless they get Fuse first. Fuse goes down.
Oh no!
That's it. 6v5 with the back cap coming in as Undine tries to get on there to try and stall it out, but they're able to do it. Our Runaway, as MVP Space took their eye off the prize, their eye off the payload, allowing Runaway to get the back cap.
I can already see chat now, Jamerson.
Flash
Escalol.
Escalol.
No, it's a joke. Wow. That was a mistake of MVP Space. Obviously, cannot understate that.
The weird part was that they were actually losing that fight also in the 4v6 by the Mega Health Pack.
Just losing fights on both fronts here.
Yeah.
The payload and the fight.
Make the fight a battle of two fronts.
But they have ultimates. Look at this. They have the blade. They have the pulse bomb, and there's only 50 seconds left for Runaway. They're good at finishing overtime if anything.
And then they need the whole of a lifetime.
First point for 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
And not give up a single tick. Hawkstall starts it off, force out the res. Fuse once again into a very vulnerable spot. He will fall as Hawkstall has the blade. Not able to dash, reset into the proper position, but they have largely won out this fight.
Yeah, I mean, MVP Space, just get him in overtime. That's all you need to worry about. Obviously, you want to stop them completely and not let them finish it all, but 15 seconds left, stall. That's all. That's the name of the game for themselves, and they have the ultimates to do it. They have the Transcendence. They have a Valkyrie. There's just no way Runaway is going to finish with any time left. It's not possible here.
Yeah, there we go. The Transcendence engaged. Dueling Transcendences now. Stitch able to take out his counterpart as Yaki does fall. Otto, not anything coming up with this blade now. as we do have the res coming up from Fuse, but Fuse falls, and it looks like Runaway might have just done it here as soon as they clean up Undine along with this diva, Bianca. They bleed this out. The stall will be there, possibly, from MVP space. Nope, it's overtime respawn timers, so no one's able to make it on the point, but still, it doesn't feel like a victory at all because, well, there's 3 minutes and 50 seconds left for MVP.
We could be on map 7, which is actually map 5. If somehow Runaway do hold.
Against all odds, yeah.
It's very unlikely, but it's possible. But MVP space on the cusp of taking a second map against Runaway and, again, working towards the revenge of group stage in Apex. After going 2-1 in groups to still losing based off map score, this would be a big win for them.
Yeah, some redemption. Also, Runaway, you know, they want to gain back glory. They just lost against GC Busan last week for Apex Season 4 Grand Finals. They won a championship.
I didn't know who won yet.
I followed the Reddit rules, you know, no spoilers for 24 hours, it's okay.
That's true.
Yeah. It's like if you haven't watched the VOD by now, you'll never watch the VOD.
You know that there's that one guy out there is like, oh, I was waiting for a week later when I was finished working my job.
Yeah,
I had sit down with
the
the
perfect
pizza.
bottle of wine and cheese to watch this.
You ruined it. All right, here we go. MVP space, 3 minutes and 50 seconds to capture a third on point A. Can Runaway put up the defense of a lifetime, or will MVP space take another map off Runaway and take it to map number 6?
There is no margin error here for Runaway at all on this defense. And the thing is, MVP space, if they really want to, they can go ahead and just run onto the point right now. Pressure, apply pressure onto it, force Runaway to put themselves into a more vulnerable spot. Have someone out there to contest because it is just a third.
And it's basically Tizzy and his job to do that. Hawkstall going to be coming in, trying to trade off some players. Otto working towards a blade, only 26% in, but you can see again, Runaway, the pressure they're under, that they have to continue to contest the point. Stitch with the McCree, he's not being harassed, but he's also not hitting these shots. A nice reflect comes in. Stitch gets knocked down very low, but we already see the kills come through, and MVP space having able to get 3.
With that, it's just Stitch left here. Never mind, he will fall. MVP space taking their second map in this series in this best of 7. 3-2 though, still in favor of Runaway, and it's going to be Runaway's map pick once again.
How do you give an MVP for this map? Because there was Nambani, and then there was Hollywood, right? So who do you give that to across 2 maps?
I still say Otto.
Yeah.
Just his performance. Keeping track of Genji the way he does and shutting him down time and time again has been impressive to watch.
They've been really stepping up in this series, considering they were down 0-3 to now take it to a 3-2 scoreline. I wonder what map we're going to next, because again, Runaway will get to choose.
Yep.
And there's Escort as a possibility, and there's Assault as a possibility.
So Junkertown done and dusted, Anubis done and dusted. Well, I think this might be a situation where they think this is like Hanamura or something, but we'll find out after this short break. It's going to be map 6 between Runaway and MVP space.
人类一直在接受考验，冲突和战争使我们不断进步。每一场战斗都让我们变得更强。 败者沦为落寇，彻底消失，而强者将晋升为王，永世铭记。
Welcome back, and our MVP for map number 5, it's gonna be Otto. And no doubt, Otto, time and time again, shutting down Haksal, but also just having very impactful blades, time and again. So now, as we move on to map number 6, is this a situation where they move Haksal back onto Lucio, or any other support? I imagine he can play them well. And Cox onto a Soldier 76, or maybe run the Far Mercy. I mean, it depends on the map pick, really.
Turn around watching himself, watching who got the MVP. I mean, he stepped up. Keep in mind, I mean, the big change was that OneFact played the first 2 maps.
Yeah.
And then Otto came in for map 3 on Oasis. Didn't really seem to do too much, and then he really started to show up on Junkertown, and of course, Nabani and Hollywood. I don't know if like comp switches it needs to happen for Runaway. You might need a better way to shut down the man on your screen there, Otto. He's been able to get the better of Haksal more times than losing to him. And in general, he's been able to time like ultimates really well too. So this is what we have Hanamura now coming in. If we do go to a final map, if MVP Space do win this, then we go to Lijiang Tower.
Yeah.
But if there's a tie, then we go to Horizon Thunder Colony. Just putting that out there now. Yeah, put it out there now, as we could see another map in this series. But then again, happy to see these 2 teams going head-to-head. I would be a little sad if Runaway did get knocked out, though, in the quarterfinals. Because 50 fans came out here to support them. They just had a tough loss against GC Busan.
Yeah.
And then to lose in the quarterfinals after playing 1 match would be heartbreaking for them. But then again, MVP Space, if they do come back and pull it off, they deserved it. To come back from being 0-3 down.
This is a championship caliber team, though, in Runaway. And you know, they know how to bounce back from these map losses and fight back into this. They are that clutch team. 2-time grand finalists, Season 2 and Season 4 in Apex. Now we're loaded up onto Hanamura, and we'll see if we get any kind of a cheese compositions coming up from either side.
Symmetra.
Widowmaker. Oh. I want to say Stitch. God, it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
I don't know how to picture that. I'm just thinking of like the game Rampage.
Yeah.
You know, where you climb up buildings and you knock them down.
Wolf, you got the monkey.
Yeah. Is it a lizard or a dinosaur? I think it was a dinosaur. It was the last one.
Some sort. Reptar. It's Reptar.
Yeah, from Rugrats.
Yeah. All right, so it's going to be Runaway on the offense first, and they're just going to run that 2-2-2. It's mirrored lineups coming out now, as they're going to go ahead and try and break through this choke point. We do have Stitch on the high ground here, going to force the D-Mech out from Bianca. Do they have the follow-up damage to clean that up?
mean, if anything, they're trying to prevent the res from coming through onto him either way, and if you do res him, he has a chance to get his mech back. Bumper has been bursted down by Otto. And they will immediately use that res, and Hoxel still looking for another kill. Quite a few targets that are low on the side of MVP space, so he has a lot of pickings he could go for. Otto has died really far in the back line.
Otto's fallen, but Fuse is there to bring him back. But once again, Bianca demech, but it's Kuki coming in, taking out both Cox and Bumper. Janu trying his best to keep this in line, along with Hoxel, as they get the kill onto Kuki. But still, now they have the man advantage. As soon as the respawns do come in, Hoxel has to be careful. He's got the blade, forcing out the Transcendence here. So as soon as this dissipates, though, both supports in a very vulnerable spot.
A good response out of Undine there. Really good timing on building it up extremely quickly. But Hoxel hasn't died in the midst of all this, though. And the res will be used, and the Valkyrie most important at a Bumper. Cox at 91% on his Transcendence, and Hoxel has been able to take down Undine. As they're looking for more, but they have only been able to get this first third. They've been stalled for a lot of time already on this map.
Fuse is about to get the res onto Undine, brings him back on in. He flew in from the outside portion of the map now, but Stitch with the D-mech is gonna force out that last mech, and there it is, Hoxel. Connected with the shurikens, but the blade now out from Otto. It's gonna be Genji versus Genji. Deflect is there. He's got the mega health pack. No! He didn't take it.
Not sure exactly why. Maybe because he wanted to die to get regroup with the rest of his team, but the rest of the team is still fighting on the point. Johnny's gonna get desuited, Substruct to be used for the remech, and Stitch will get the kill into Otto, a very big kill. They needed that man down, as he's been such a pain. But they still have not been able to get really any more progress in this first third. Undine able to get the kill on a Stitch, able to get the desuit to Janu, and he has another Transcendence.
Yaki forced to recall here, as Fuse has made it back. They're gonna have a res for this. Never mind, Stitch is able to one-clip him down in the back line, and so now this is the window of opportunity that Runaway really need to break the defense here. Yaki trying his best to keep this alive for the defense, but he's dropped low. It's gonna be the melee that takes him out with the help of Hoxel's dash.
It took him to 1:20 left to capture that point. Now 5 minutes on the board. They have a blade, they have a pulse bomb. But again, Undine, he's got his Transcendence to respond to this. There's not a lot of ultimates to use on the side of MVP space, so if you're them, ideally you want to force a fight right away so you can build up these other ultimates, something Runaway did a hell of a lot with the back of Hoxel against GC Busan. Hoxel's going to go back in, blade still ready to be unsheathed. They're waiting for that prime opportunity, you know? Waiting for that opportunity to make a big play happen for the team to give them a huge time bank.
Yeah, we'll see Stitch. He's also got the pulse bomb. He dashes in, comes out, but doesn't connect onto anyone but Hoxel. He's in the back line. He's got this blade. If he wants to use it, he will unsheath the blade. Now he's going to get the D-mech onto Bianca, but he's getting focused down now by the Winston, but he's got the pocket there. Transcendence. The kill does come down. Fuse just waiting for that res to see who he wants to pull it out for. He's almost got that Valkyrie, but no, he instantly gets taken out.
Yeah, he gets destroyed before he gets the Valkyrie out, before he has a chance to use it. Undine switching over to Lucio, but 4 minutes and 21 seconds. And their first real attempt on the second point. Runaway will get it. Now the pressure's on MVP space. Keep in mind, they're one map away from being knocked out. They still need to pick up 2 in a row to have a chance to get through in the quarter or to the semifinals.
They fought so hard to get here. Getting that perfect 3-0.
Tried so hard and got so far.
In the end, it doesn't matter, though. They've shown it's been a great performance so far up against Runaway once again. You know, they're currently 3-2. But,
Go on.
But, yeah, I mean, Runaway, it's so impressive how quickly that they've transitioned into this meta, because it's a drastically different meta, really, when you think about it. Not having Bumper on that Lucio there, we've seen his shot calling come into fruition before. They played all sorts of different compositions. Stitch going on to the McCree, having a field day with that. I mean, this is a team that consistently evolves. They find a way to just make themselves better season upon season upon season, right? They get knocked down a peg and they come back climbing the rungs over and over again. So now, I want to see them come back stronger for Apex Season 5. See what kind of adjustments they make coming into that.
If they're playing at Apex Season 5.
Oh, you got them spicy leaks? You got them spicy leaks, Jason?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
The Salt Lake Miners picking up. You didn't know that? So they picked up...
the Salt Lake Miners, huh?
Salt Lake Miners, yeah. Utah. Their logo is a pickaxe.
Yeah. Is it a golden pickaxe? Diamond?
No, it's actually
the Minecraft.
Yeah,
diamond.
exactly. There's some copyright claims that had to happen there,
boy.
but they're in litigation right now.
Please
I can't
notch.
talk about it.
Please notch. All right. So now it's MVP space on the offensive end. Nothing different here coming out for their offense, but on the side of the defense for Runaway, Cox will be on that Ana. Tizzy, just a little bit of AFK here.
Zap.
Oh,
Can't
hey
see
guys. Yeah, they have allowed them to get in, and Janu has gotten demeched now, so there's a huge vulnerability on the side of
Bumper's
Runaway.
dead.
Yeah.
Just went straight in for him. Really well done by Bianca to go for that kill. Yeah, he sacrifices himself, but that's a sacrifice you're going to take any day of the week. And MVP, that was a quick take. They will get this point once they do finish off Stitch. And they have a huge time bank to work with now, going into second. They don't have ultimates necessarily yet, though.
Okay, so Cox and Bumper swapping now. As Cox picks up the Zenyatta, Bumper going on to the Ana for the point B defense, resetting the support ultimates. That's a dangerous.
Bumper dies like right off the bat anyway, so it's not like he lost much ult percent. I think same with Cox. I mean, you look at you know, Undine, 30%.
Yeah, but look at Fuse, he's at 70.
Yeah, that's just Fuse.
No. That's a double res though. If he gets that Valkyrie up, it's an 8v6. That affords them that room for error, right? If they lose someone on the point, Undine already starting it off. Cox is gone. It's a 6v5 now.
Not looking good, Stitch. Hawk's still gonna get the return on Fuse though, so that Valkyrie that he could have had is completely gone. And a nice little kill to Bumper and Tizzy. Does shut this attack down right away. So 6 minutes and a half to go for MVP space. They do have double DPS ultimates.
I don't agree with Stitch taking that health pack there. He could have just ran back, allowed Cox or Bumper, preferably Bumper there, to heal him up and get ever closer to that nano boost. It's the small things, but it could play a huge difference to this next team fight.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. And we're going to see Hawksaw looks like come in through the high ground, towards the high ground. Trying to look for some dash reset, trying to look for some easy damage because he's really close to his blade. Doesn't know everyone is out up there here. Undine working towards that Transcendence. That's going to be the Valkyrie popped out of Fuse. They're all grouped up, so he can do a lot of extra healing for this. As Tizzy tries to come in and knock them around, and Hawksaw's blade's going to net them the first kill.
Fuse still has that resurrection. It's going to bring back Huki, but they have less Undine. It's going to be the double res now. 6v6 once again onto the point. Huxtell in the middle of all of MVP will be able to make it away safely for now, but now it's the blade coming out from Otto. TZ has already fallen. He's going after the spec, but there's the self-destruct straight into the face of both Cox and Bumper. Both supports are gone along with Janu.
Hey, 4 free kills with the blade when supports are grouped up and clumped up. They're going to have a second to contest this, though. They're getting so close to finishing someone. No one touches on the side of Runaway. And 5 minutes and 12 seconds compared to the 4:21. Dear Lord, both teams having more time after finishing the map than they had initially to capture the first point.
Otto with that blade starts it off, takes out the Winston, gets the D-Mech onto Kuki, and then gets into the back line, takes out both supports by himself. We were expecting these kinds of plays to come out from Hawksall, but Otto, he has stepped it up.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a great performance.
This is the Otto we saw last week. And
Yeah.
the Otto we saw at the beginning of the series and the Otto we're seeing right now is complete night and day.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got his confidence. I mean, when you're playing against the best Genji in the world, you're obviously going to have some nerves towards that. Able to keep it together when it matters. And keep Runaway on the back foot. 5 minutes and 21 seconds left. As we're going to be going to the second attacking half. This time for Runaway. This man's got to be happy. I mean, if at the end of this, it's got to be him or Undine that gets like the MVP of the map, or the match, sorry, because those two have been playing insanely well. Usually it's Chiaki that we're talking about, you know, has really good Pharah, really good Tracer, but Otto's been stealing the show.
Now, it's going to be Runaway's second offense here. Nothing being changed at all whatsoever. They're going for that 2-2-2 versus that 2-2-2 once again. It's a bit of a sloppy first take coming out from Runaway, I want to say. As there were moments where they could have had the man advantage. They could have taken the point much sooner. Now we'll see if they clean that up. Hawksall over the top. Spotted out. It's both takes on the low ground now. They're trying to be bursted down. They will get the D-Mech first, but in the meantime, they did lose TZ.
Now I'm going to res him back in, so now Fuse is going to have that res advantage. About 25 seconds left. Hawk's still going to dash into the health pack. That's never a good sign. The Genji's dashing to get health. versus dashing to do damage.
Alt fire coming out. Cox with that charge shot. Fuse gets caught out by that melee. Hoxel takes him on out. They have the man advantage. They just need to clean this up cleanly on the side of Runaway.
Well, they struggled to do it last time. And they might struggle to do it here. And MVP Space still have 5 people left alive. Bianca being desuited, but not before it gets to kill Tizzy, and the res will eventually come in. And the switch strikes out of Hoxel is able to help close this one out. So Runaway get the first point on the second, or the first try technically, and we'll still have a lot of time to work with as they move into the second phase.
Yeah, much cleaner this time around. I believe it took them about 3 minutes on their initial offense. 3 minutes and 35 seconds. They've got that Valkyrie along with the Pulse Bomb and a Blade coming up as Stitch is lurking his way on in. He wants to get into the back line instantly with that Pulse Bomb. He hears the enemy Tracer, Yaki, high ground there. So now he's making his infiltration.
Solid Snake. Trying to go in. He's got his box. Auto Blade ready to be used. Looks like Stitch hasn't used his Pulse Bomb just yet, and Hoxel has used his Blade, net himself an initial kill into Bianca. The Transcendence will be there. The res is going to not be enough. Sorry, the Transcendence to keep Fuse alive, and they do pick themselves up quite a few kills.
Yeah, they are still contesting the point, though. Undine going down there as the Primal Rage is being used by Kuki here to try and stall this out. As it dissipates, though, he makes his way on over to the health pack, but Hoxel has his mercy, has the healing there. They can clean him up. They need to turn around. It's going to be Otto now with the Blade. He tries to go hunting, tries to hunt down Bumper, who's so low, but he gets healed back up by Cox. But still, they are trading away for now as Fuse is able to bring Otto back into this.
And they have the Valkyrie, and they're going to get the res they need and the damage done to hold on to this. They'll still be 80% accumulated for Runaway, so they'll still maintain the 2/3, but they won't complete on this push. Hoxel finally being cleaned up, and MVP Space keeping their heads cool. That's what I like to see out of teams. Really, you know, when the pressure's on, to keep your cool in the situation against one of the best teams in the world, and showing some true growth out of MVP Space from, you know, group stage of APAC Season 4 until now. But they also committed a lot into that last fight, too.
Undine had swapped off onto Lucio. He was at about 40% actually towards the sound barrier, but now he's swapped back onto Zenyatta as the dive comes out from Runaway here. They're going to try and dislodge the members of MVP Space, and they will be successful, getting them off the high ground now. This is the position that Cox wants to be in. He wants to have complete line of sight. They spot out Otto. The Orb of Discord is on him. And instantly you saw the members turn around on the side of Runaway to try and deal with him. Yaki, he's got this Pulse Bomb. He's going to go for the DMAC here, but does not. He's going to whiff that as Janu gets the DMAC on the Bianca.
Blade coming out of Hoxel. The red's going to be there for Stitch, and Hoxel's looking for some damage. The deflect going to buy a lot of time for Otto to survive, and most importantly, not die and come back with his own Blade. Runaway, will they be able to shut him down? No, no one's going to contest the point, and MVP Space will allow Runaway to finish off the second attacking phase with 1:18 left. So there still is another potential attack for Runaway if MVP Space can finish.
Yeah, it looks like they've made the adjustment they need to. Applying a lot more pressure onto Otto, not allowing him these windows to just carry team fights. You see, once they established their defense on the high ground, Cox, he was checking his back. He was making sure that he wasn't getting flanked at all from Otto. As soon as Otto peeked his head up from those stairs, immediately the orb of Discord was on top of him, and then you saw, I believe it was Tizzy and Janu instantly dive back on up and cover Cox.
Well, they know who the threat is, right?
Yeah.
They know it's Otto, and the playmaking ability this guy's been able to have. Half of it is just based off Genji alone. That's what he can do, and the other half is, well, that man and how good he can be.
It only took them 3 maps to learn that they need to deal with Otto here, but they've learned, and that's the most important part. The more you know.
Well, here we go. MVP Space on the attack now, running still 2-2-2 against Runaway's 2-2-2. Basically exactly what we saw for the last 9 months, except no Lucio. We see Mercy.
Rip Lucio.
The intro. Okay, who was that was doing the Lucio
I love
intro?
the music.
That was amazing.
I love the music, by the way.
Even the jazz skin?
For all of APAC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the music's been great.
All right, 2-2-2 now. Out the gates, our MVP for their second offense. 5 minutes on the clock as we have Yaki making his way in through the window here. He spots out Stitch. They made their way into the right-hand side. Members dropping low, but no kills going over quite yet. Both teams disengaged. Yaki on the hunt for his counterpart. He has to back off as the Orb of Discord was on him.
They run away a little bit split. with Tizzy off by himself towards the front, but then again, he's not using his jump to get aggressive. He's using it to back away. He's trying to, I think, bait them in that direction too, except now they're coming in from a two-pronged attack, and just like that, Bumper immediately going to be dispatched of. No rest for them at all, and Fuse has been able to stay alive.
6v4 now. Otto ultimately will fall, but it's been all Runaway. Just not able to do much on the point A defense.
Yeah, not at all. This is a map that they chose too, considering they just lost the previous on Hollywood.
Yeah.
Stitch just got to retreat, needs to survive. Should be fine. That's 7 HP left. 10 HP left. So one more orb would have been enough to finish him off. But here we go, MVP space now. 4.5 minutes left. Still more time than they had initially to attack the first point.
They're gonna have
into the final phase. What's that?
Transcendence. Yeah. You got the Valkyrie along with the Blade. Possibly the bomb.
So it comes down to Cox then, right?
Yeah.
If he can keep his Transcendence up with his Blade out of auto, then they should be able to defend and deflect this attack. If they do somehow force it out of him right away, then Runaway could be looking at a major time deficit.
Valkyrie already used by Fuse here, along with the
Transcendence
on the side of Cox. For Runaway now, they've already got the first kill as TZ goes down, but they try to go for the Blade. Otto's forced down. It's going to be Hoxel. He's got a Blade of his own. As soon as he gets healed up, as soon as he wants to go in, Otto gets the kill onto Cox now. It's down to Hoxel here to try to keep this alive. He's getting bursted down. He will fall to Kuki, and now it looks like MVP Space might have just done it.
Well, Space don't have a res. They have to be careful. Runaway, they're going to have the res coming in. And Bumper, who just got Valkyrie! Kuki gets the kill onto this man, and MVP Space are keeping 5 people on this point, or at least towards this direction. Hoxel and Stitch, can the 2 DPS duo of Runaway somehow keep them off? They're still contesting. No progress has really been made just yet. None of that will stick, but Runaway have to be so careful. Stitch isn't there to help assist for any kills that might come in.
They do have Bumper back into this. He has the Valkyrie. He's got that extra heal. The chained heal now coming out. Stitch able to somehow stay alive throughout the entire fray here. Got into the back line, took out Undine, and now it's the Blade for Otto. He built up another one during this engagement. Got the DMEC and killed. Instant res coming back onto Janu. They did secure that 1/3 tick as Fuse comes in to bring back Kuki, but MVP, they just need to reset.
And 1/3 won't be enough to finish this off. Even Cox switching to Doomfist. Let's try to stall on the point. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. And MVP Space have to go back to, they didn't even get the third actually, no! They didn't even get that! And they have to go back to the drawing board now where they had such a big advantage pulling in with their ultimates. If Otto, I think if he didn't die in the middle of his Blade, or the beginning of his Blade, I have to say, then that could have been a different story because Cox had no Transcendence, but Cox was able to get a Meteor Strike online in that last skirmish. Probably going to save it for this, use it, and then look to switch on over as quick as he can.
Oh, Cox dropped low. He does survive for now. Undine is the one that falls. We'll see. Fuse has used that Valkyrie, so he should just go ahead and res him back into this. Pulse Bomb comes out. They're going to get the DMEC onto Bianca, and Stitch with excellent aim. Not able to quite finish him off as they do have that Mercy pocket there. Cox is still alive. He's going to force out the Transcendence as Bumper brings Hoxel back into this, and he's got his Blade now. Yaki able to clip onto Cox, but it's still Hoxel with the Blade right on top of the Mercy. Fuse able to get that last res off, but still the trades favoring Runaway at this point as they do have the defender's advantage.
Yeah, MVP Space. Actually, Bumper going to be using his Valkyrie here just to make sure they can hold on to this point. Minute and 39 left to go here in Runaway. Well, they're a minute and 30 left from closing out this map, from closing out this series, and advancing through to play against MY. Bumper, is he switching? Switching to Ana, okay.
Yeah, Valkyrie was just used here. Fuse used his Valkyrie also. So they're fighting into a 7v6, essentially, right?
Well, also, I think the fact that Ana is going to be way more impactful with a Bio Grenade in the last minute than potential one-man res would be, you know, because you're not going to really get Valkyrie up. You need to play extra safe. So Otto has to dive you. But keep in mind what happened for Runaway when they're grouped up like this last time. When Cox and Bumper were next to each other, one slash easily finished them both off.
Yeah, but already 2 kills going on over. That's going to be the instant res coming out from Fuse. It's a 5v6 in favor of Runaway. And MVP, they're just going to reset for possibly one final push here. Otto, he's got a Blade, he's got a bomb coming out from Yaki and about 10 more percentage. And Bianca has that self-destruct.
Well, here we go. Pretty much into the final push. 39 seconds left to go. Stitch still looking for any sort of 1v1s on the side of the map. Kuki going to be coming in from main, jumping on the high ground. And Stitch immediately pounces. He's going to be directly behind them. And Undine, he needs to survive. He needs to not be picked off from this one, because this is the last engagement. This is the last chance for MVP Space to drag out this series longer.
Primal Rage was used by TZ. It is going to go ahead and dissipate now. Bumper getting closer and closer to that Nano. Who's he going to throw it on? It can't be Tizzy, as Tizzy has fallen. They don't have a res for that. As Fuse brings that Undine, but Haksal is back. He's got that blade, and now he's getting the resets. 2 kills going over. Fuse down, Auto down. 2 seconds left. They need to keep bodies on this point, but they're fighting into a 6v3 here. So we have the Nano boost onto Janu now, and with that Haksal demeched, destroyed is Bianca. They're just trying to stall out for as long as possible, but MVP Space, they are running out of time. They are running out of bodies, and they have lost here as Runaway will take the 4-2 victory, the hard-fought victory up against MVP Space.
That was not as clean of a series as Runaway was hoping for, even though they did pull off an early 3-0 victory. But this man here, he was the guy that really gave them the trouble. His Genji was fantastic the entire series. I think MVP Space can be happy about this entire series, even though they have lost. Everyone played phenomenally well, and I think this is a roster that's really going to challenge quite a few teams as they get around to APAC Season 5. But Runaway, they're going to be your victors. Definitely deserved after the amount of maps it took them. But keep in mind, they've been on the new patch for like 2 days.
Yeah. No sleep for Runaway as they have to continue to prep now. They're going to have a nice day off, but it's going to be spent mostly...
To say day off? They're going to be screaming the entire day. Like a nice 14-hour day tomorrow at the
I know they're going to have
a
a good dinner after this.
So we're peeking up?
I haven't actually had any yet, but yeah.
That's probably because of me, because I'm picky when it comes to food.
You are picky, especially with your duck. But yeah, you know, all of our competitors today, in that Blank versus MY matchup, it was still close. It went back and forth between the two teams. Here, we went 4-2. We went 7 maps in a 4-game set, or excuse me, in a 6-game set, and it was real back and forth. MVP Space, you know, they can walk away with their head held.
Yeah, I think they should. I think they should. Maybe if they were able to play at that level in the beginning of the series, maybe when the nerves have settled or whatnot, then it would have been a much different story in this matchup. But Runaway really showing their true vigor and their constitution to just hold it together. You know, being up 3-0, then things started to really go against them. With 5 minutes plus for MVP Space after the first attack on Hanamura, they came together when the time mattered, and they did it.
Yeah.